Jason Marquis is pitching for the Atlanta Braves tonight. Jason Marquis grew up in New York, and here he is pitching for the Braves in this first game back in New York.
And so is Steve Carsey, who grew up in this area. Now here they come back to New York on a night that will never be forgotten. It is such a huge night. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready for the start of the pregame ceremonies. The joint color guard will be coming through the center field gates. The joint color guard is the police department, the fire department, EMS, Port Authority Police, and NYS Court Officers Association.
Washington, D.C., and outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tonight we come together for the first regular season professional sporting event in New York City since Tuesday, September 11th. We return to our national pastime, in part to show that America can and will go on. But before we begin our game, we will pause to remember the victims of those terrible attacks, their families, and the thousands of rescue workers, volunteers, and good Samaritans who have shown that America can be at her best in the most difficult of times. Our colors tonight are being presented by a joint color guard consisting of New York's Police Department, Fire Department, Emergency Medical Service, Port Authority Police, and the New York State Court Officers Association. 5 agencies that lost rescue personnel when the World Trade Center towers collapsed. They are accompanied by the NYPD Pipers and a rifle team from the United States Marine Corps 6th Communication Battalion, based in Brooklyn, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, here to honor our nation with the singers of God Bless America is Miss Diana Ross. Miss Ross, is accompanied by the Northport High School Choir and the Christ Tabernacle Choir from Brooklyn.
And the Christ Tabernacle Choir of Brooklyn.
In center field, we welcome 34 midshipmen of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point, Long Island, who are presenting the giant U.S. flag for tonight's ceremony. Now entering from center field are groups representing many of the brave, committed men and women who have been working long, difficult hours as part of the rescue efforts going on at the World Trade Center. Please welcome members of the NYPD, New York Fire Department, Port Authority Police Department, New York State Court officers, the San Francisco Fire Department Station 1, National Disaster Medical System DeMoor, New York Hospital in Queens, St. John's Queens Hospital, Mary Immaculate Hospital EMS Division, and New York University Downtown Hospital. These rescue workers are joining the midshipmen around the giant flag in the same way that Americans from all walks of life have come together to help in the wake of these tragic events. At this time, we ask that you please direct your attention to Diamond Vision for a special message from the New York Mets, to be followed by a moment of silence and 21-gun salute in memory of those who are no longer with us.
Every American was shocked by the disastrous events of September 11th. But for New Yorkers, this attack was even more personal.
Many of us have families or other loved ones that were touched by the tragedy.
And all of us know someone among the thousands of brave, committed volunteers
and rescue personnel who have come together in Lower Manhattan.
And at this time, we ask that you please rise, remove your caps,
and join us in a moment of silent reflection and prayer
in memory of the victims,
in support of their families,
and on behalf of everyone who has been hurt by these attacks.
Please remain standing for the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, which was written by Francis Scott Key 187 years ago today. Our national anthem will be performed tonight by Mark Anthony.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the whole
Thank you.
An amazing sight in the center of the diamond as the two lines of ball players, the Mets who had been along the first base line and the Braves along the third base line, meet for hugs and handshakes. Who would have ever thought that possible?
Well, it is so wonderful to see. And it's so genuine on the part of all the players, whether they're Braves or the New York Mets. They are so glad to be embracing each other on the field here before the game tonight. Now the players are starting to leave. Braves are all heading back toward the third base dugout. Mets will return to their dugout behind the first base line. And a few moments from now, they will perform Amazing Grace. The umpires are at home plate for the pregame meeting there. The coach is coming out with the lineup cards and exchanging the lineup cards with the umpires at home plate.
Come Saturday, midday, it's a Major League matinee at Wrigley.
Driven in the air, deep left field, back goes Costco, it's got a chance, gone! Yes! Derek Lee, a two-run homer.
Saturday in Chicago on the north side. The Cubbies, the Rockies, 105 Eastern, XM 185. And also on Saturday afternoon, 3:55 Eastern, Dodgers, Mets, XM 186, Tigers, Mariners, XM 182, Braves, Reds, XM 183, Padres, Giants, XM 184. 6:10 Eastern Saturday night, it's the Rays, it's the White Sox, XM 180. And on Saturday night, 7:05 Eastern, Marlins, Phillies, XM 188, Red Sox, Orioles, XM 177, Astros, Brewers, XM 189, Indians, Royals, XM 178, Yankees, Twins, XM 176, Pirates, Cardinals, XM 187. Saturday evening, 8:05 Eastern, A's, Rangers, XM 179, Nationals, D-backs, XM 184. Finally, 9:05 Eastern, Blue Jays, Angels, XM 181.
Fantasy Focus on XM.
Prospect to watch.
Texas Rangers catcher Max Ramirez. Checked out his numbers so far for 2008 for AA Frisco. It's just extraordinary numbers so far. The Rangers have other options, so there is a question on whether he's ever going to stick behind the plate. But if he does, or if they trade him to another team that needs a guy, it's a guy that can get you some power, and he's still young enough that he can be pretty projectable there. He doesn't turn 24 until October. Max Ramirez is our prospect to watch.
Fantasy Focus, 12 noon East on MLB Home Plate, XM 175.
Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed a perfect game.
This is the classic game on Home Plate, XM 175.
Our distinguished guests. The ceremonial first pitch has just been made. We will tell you more about it later on. The game time temperature is brought to you by Usco Logistics, providing you with game-winning supply chain management solutions. Tonight's game time temperature is 70 degrees. The Modell's pitching matchup is brought to you by Modell's Sporting Goods, so you got to go to Moe's. For the pitching matchup, let's check in with Gary Cohen.
And just adding to the intrigue of the evening, you've got a native New Yorker pitching for the Braves and a former Brave pitching for the Mets. Jason Marquis will go for the Atlanta Braves. Marquis 3-6 on the year, a 3.70 ERA. The one-loss record deceiving because Marquis has gotten as little run support as anybody in the league. The Braves have averaged just 2.8 runs every time he's taken the mound. Meanwhile, for the Mets, Bruce Chen will go. Chen, who began his career with the Atlanta Braves, then was traded to the Phillies and picked up by the Mets. Since coming to New York, he is 3-1, but in his last start 13 days ago against Florida, Chen failed to get out of the first inning, and the Mets will certainly hope that Chen can pitch a lot deeper into this game tonight. And following the stirring pregame ceremonies here, and I don't know where to go first, whether it's the Pipers with their patriotic medley or the Merchant Marine unveiling the flag in center field, or Diana Ross singing God Bless America, or the 21-gun salute. It was as great a tribute to the United States of America as you could ever put together, Bob.
It was absolutely so smashing a success. It was marvelous. I thought Diana Ross was absolutely fantastic. She was so good.
And perhaps, for a baseball fan, the most stirring part of the whole thing came at the end when the Mets and Braves embraced in the middle of the diamond. That was completely unexpected as far as I was concerned, and it really just gives an idea about the solidarity that this country is feeling right now.
Well, I had read that they planned to do that, and they certainly did it beautifully. No doubt about it, and I think the fans here at Shea Stadium enjoyed that, as you say, as much as anything that happened during the very, very impressive and tear-jerking and heartwarming pregame ceremonies.
Now the starting lineup, sponsored by Chase Manhattan Bank. Chase, the right relationship is everything. And for the Braves, Marcus Giles will lead off. Giles playing second base. 43-year-old Julio Franco is at first base. Franco hitting number 2. Chipper Jones will bat third. Chipper, for only the 4th time this year, is playing left field. Brian Jordan is in right field. Jordan hitting cleanup. Ken Caminetti batting number 5. Caminetti playing third base. Andrew Jones is in center field. Andrew hitting number 6. Javi Lopez bats 7th. Lopez doing the catching. Ray Sanchez is the shortstop. Sanchez hitting 8th. And on the mound for the Braves, 23-year-old Staten Island native Jason Marquis. Marquis is 3-6 on the season. For the Mets, Matt Lawton leads off. Lawton playing right field. Edgardo Alfonso is at second base. Alfonso hitting number 2. Mike Piazza bats third. Piazza doing the catching. Robin Ventura is at third base. Ventura hitting cleanup. Tsuyoshi Shinjo bats number 5. Shinjo in left field. Todd Zeal, who has homered in 2 straight games, is at first base. Zeal hitting number 6. Jay Payton bats 7th. Payton playing center field. Ray Ordonez is the shortstop. Ordonez hitting 8th. And on the mound for New York, left-hander Bruce Chen. Bruce overall is 7-6 this season. Baseball returns to New York. The Mets are in a race, but they can afford no stumbles. They're 5.5 games behind the Braves and 4 games behind the Phillies with 15 to play. Big crowd gathered. Ceremonies behind us, but never to be forgotten as Bruce Chen gets set to throw the first pitch. Here's Bob Murphy.
All right, Gary. Bruce Chen, 3-1 since being traded to the New York Mets. Marcus Giles, the leadoff batter, and the second baseman takes a fastball high. 1 ball and no strikes. Marcus spent the first half of the year playing AAA ball at Richmond and then was called up by the Atlanta Braves. Now the pitch thrown by Bruce Chen. High inside, 2 balls and no strikes. 70 degrees this evening at Shea Stadium. Large crowd on hand, probably about 40,000. Chen's side again as Piazza sets the target. That's over, a call strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bruce Chen on the year is 7-6 with a 4.78 ERA. Lifetime against the Braves, his former team, he's 0-1. Inside low ball 3-1. He every now and then will encounter a wildest streak. Just a couple of years ago, he was considered a tremendous prospect by the Braves. Way up high, ball 4. Marcus Giles is on with a walk. So the first batter of the game, Marcus Giles, reaches on a walk.
Well, the biggest problem for Chen since coming to the Mets has been the first inning. When he's gotten through the first inning, he's done okay, but never made it through the first inning in his last start against Florida. And as Bobby Valentine showed on Wednesday in Pittsburgh, he's going to show no patience with a starting pitcher who's not getting it done. The Mets just can't afford to lose a game.
Oh, they can't wait. Bobby Valentine will have that bullpen ready in a hurry. Now, Julio Franco recently picked up from Mexico City in the Mexican League, where he was hitting about .437, is now playing first base and batting second. And a pitch over for a call strike. Franco is a tremendous physical presence. He really has a body. They say he's 40 years old. Others say he's 43 years old. He's played in the Orient. He's played in Japan. He's played in Korea. He's played in Mexico. And he's played about over 10 years in the major leagues of the United States. He won a batting title back in about 1991. So here he is, Julio Franco, right-hand batter. They say he's been hitting the ball very hard since joining the Atlanta Braves. Batting average of .256 right now. And that's a letter-high strike.
It's a very different Atlanta team than the one the Mets saw the last time they faced them.
Boy, I'll say.
Kilvio Veras released. Rafael Furcal out for the year. Rico Brogna released. Wes Helms on the bench. Chipper Jones playing left field. It's a very different ball club.
If they win, they deserve a lot of credit. They've had to do a lot of things in order to stay in it. Franco waiting on a 2-strike pitch. Foul ball hit back into the big crowd here at Shea. 2-strike count on Julio Franco. When they lost Rafael Furcal, their shortstop and leadoff batter, that really hurt their attack and hurt it badly.
Well, you know, Mark DeRosa came up and did a terrific job for them, but they picked up Ray Sanchez from Kansas City. Sanchez is a nice defensive player, but he's not the offensive presence that Furcal is.
Mets have seen a lot of Sanchez. He was the shortstop for the Cubs for over 5 years. The 2-strike pitch, foul ball back on the screen. So now Bruce Chen seems to be sighting in on that strike zone all right. He walked the first batter up in the ball game, Marcus Giles. Chipper Jones, who's been red hot, is waiting on deck. The Mets and Braves have played 13 games this year. Atlanta winning 7 and the New York Mets winning 6. So they have battled each other on just about even terms. Braves have won 4 out of 6 here at Shea Stadium. Foul ball, line drive caught by Zeal. Goes to the bag at first. Double play. Double play. Franco hit a line drive caught by Todd Zeal. Zeal ran to the bag at first and doubled up Marcus Giles.
Now Bruce Chen getting fortunate there. Franco hitting it hard the other way, and all Zeal had to do was reach out to his right and make the backhand snag, and Giles was a dead duck.
That's what they were saying about Julio Franco. He has been hitting the ball hard. Now the number 3 hitter, Chipper Jones. Crowd reacting to Chipper as he steps in. Fouls the first pitch off down the right field line, no play.
Well, that'll tell you that everything is back to normal when the Shea Stadium crowd is able to boo Chipper Jones in the very first inning.
Yeah, that's a healthy sign. The Mets defensive alignment is brought to you by New York City OTB. We've got your number. Todd Seal at first and Cardo Alfonso at second. Foul ball off Chipper's bat coming back. Ray Ordonez at short and Robin Ventura playing third. In the outfield, Toyoshi Shinjo in left. Jay Payton in center and around his right, Matt Lawton. Now Bruce Chen with a 2-strike count on Chipper Jones. Breaking ball that is low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bruce Chen is only 24 years old. The Mets got Bruce Chen from the Phillies, but they sent Kirk Wendell and Dennis Cook to the Phillies. So far, the trade has looked awfully good for New York. Jay Payton now moving toward right center against Chipper Jones. The 1-2 pitch to Chipper. Swung on and fouled back upstairs out of play. Switch hitting Chipper Jones, hitting a .319 on the year. 36 home runs and 94 runs batted in. He's had a very hot bat. Over the last 80 games, Chipper has had a batting average of .343. 2 outs and nobody on. We're in the first inning of the game here at Shea Stadium. Now the pitch thrown by Chen. Breaking ball low inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The on-deck batter is the right fielder and cleanup batter, Brian Jordan. Very comfortable evening weather-wise here at Shea. Opening game of a 3-game series. Night game tomorrow night, day game on Sunday afternoon. The 2-2 pitch. And it's low inside, ball 3. Now Chen goes 3-2 on Chipper Jones. Chipper, a switch hitter, batting right-handed against left-hander Bruce Chen. As a right-hand batter, Chipper Jones is hitting at .348. Higher average right than left this year. The 3-2 pitch. Got him, strike 3 call. Chipper Jones called out on strikes. No runs, no hits, nobody left on. Middle of inning 1 at Shea Stadium. The Braves nothing, and the Mets coming to bat on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Take 5 with me, Dr. Laura, on XM 155. Yeah, I think that would be a deal breaker. If you were wise, that would be a deal breaker, because that's somebody who wants to keep her head in the sand or not hear anything or not face anything, and that doesn't portend good stuff for the future. No, red flag, huge, waving in the breeze, yes. Spend part of your day with me. Weekdays at 3 p.m. East, noon in the West, on XM 155.
It's down to just 2 teams.
Double clutches and lays it up and in. What a move.
Only one is going to come out on top.
Good! Oh, they could have called it out.
The NBA Finals on ESPN Radio, XM 140.
Now Gasol with a lob to Bryant for a 2-hand jam.
The intensity is turned up so much you can feel it. The competition doesn't get any more fierce than this. And you'll be able to hear it all. Tune in for live coverage of every game of the NBA Finals.
You're listening to the NBA playoffs on ESPN.
All the way to the crowning of the world champions. The NBA on ESPN Radio, XM 140.
This is the NBA.
Smith, he picked it down and rocked the house.
These are the playoffs.
With the left-hand jam.
This is your home for all the action. ESPN Radio, XM 140.
Hi, this is Casey Kasem. This week we're traveling back to 1975.
Thank God, I'm a country boy, yeah!
May 1975, President Ford had just declared an official end to the Vietnam War, and Monty Python and the Holy Grail was in theaters.
Come back here and see what's coming to you! I'll bite your legs off!
Meanwhile, Casey Kasem was counting down the American Top 40.
Coming up on AT40, I have the latest hit by the only recording act to have hit #1 during the 50s and during the 70s. And it isn't Elvis Presley.
Hear Casey's original countdown show from May 31st, 1975, commercial-free on the 70s on 7. New shows debut Saturday, noon East, 9 West, with encores Wednesday. For complete show schedules, go to xmradio.com.
American Top 40.
Yeah, this is a brand new one. In fact, I'm liable to screw it up. And even though this is taped, if I goof it up, we're going to leave it. Because this is cable radio or whatever they call it. It can't be cable. You can't have cables that long. Satellite, all right.
Singer-songwriter John Hyatt. Hear interviews with authors, newsmakers, artists, every weekday on The Bob Edwards Show, 8 a.m. in the East, 5 a.m. in the West, on XMPR, Channel 133.
Gibson has tied the record of Sandy Koufax, 15 strikeouts in a single World Series game.
Now, back to the classic game on home plate, XM 175.
The last of the first inning at Shea Stadium. Bruce Chin getting off to a good start here this evening. In front of a big crowd as baseball returns to New York. Matt Lawton, the right fielder, will lead off against the young right-hander from Staten Island, Jason Marquis. As Gary mentioned, Marquis has had very little run support this year. He has an excellent ERA of 3.70, but his one-loss record is 3-6. He's pitched well, but gotten very few runs to work with. He was actually born in Manhasset, New York. He's a power pitcher. Fastball, slider, changeup. Pitch to Matt Lawton, fastball, strike one call. The plate umpire is Wally Bell. Marty Foster at first. The crew chief, Mark Hirschbeck, at second. And Ron Culpa is the umpire at third. Now the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, changeup. And a 2-strike count on Matt Lawton. On the infield, Julio Franco is playing first. Marcus Giles at second. Ray Sanchez at short. Ken Caminetti at third. You had thought about that as an infield for Atlanta on opening day, you wouldn't have believed it. Next pitch. Drive to the air to left field, but it's right at the left fielder. Putting up the glove, Chipper Jones makes the grab. So Lawton is lined out to left.
Well, at the beginning of the year, that was Rico Bronya, Kilvio Veras, Rafael Furcal, and Chipper Jones, so they've had a complete turnover on their infield.
I haven't heard anybody say how Chipper feels about playing left field, but he's really a team guy. I'm sure he probably doesn't mind.
Well, Chipper came up as a shortstop, you'll remember, was moved to third base. There's been a lot of talk about moving him to first because he's had a lot of troubles at third, and he can handle left field as well as he can handle third base.
And he can certainly handle the bat. Edgardo Alfonso now hitting for the New York Mets. Fastball high, 1 ball, and no strikes. Tomorrow night, Steve Traxel pitches for New York. Greg Maddux will be on the mound for the Atlanta Braves, going for his 18th win. A little bit outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Mike Piazza waiting on deck. I see Piazza has stitched September 11th on his uniform shirt. Now the 2-0 delivery. Uppercut, a foul ball coming back into the crowd out of play.
Mike was among those who were shedding more than one tear during those pregame ceremonies tonight. You know, Mike makes his home in Manhattan now, and
he's done it. We talk
a lot about John Franco, the native New Yorker, and how he's been struck by this. Being around Mike the last few days, he's been as devastated as anybody by what has transpired.
Yeah, he lived in New Jersey for a year, and he just bought an apartment and moved to Gramercy Park. Now the pitch on the way, a strike call to the outside corner. From his apartment, he could see the Twin Towers very well. I still can't believe that happened. I just can't quite get adjusted to it. 2-2 the count on Edgardo Alfonso. And the pitch thrown by Jason Marquis. High fly ball hit to right field, not very deep. Brian Jordan, the right fielder, under it, makes the catch, 2 men down. So 2 outs and nobody on. It brings up Mike Piazza. Mike with 33 home runs now and 82 runs batted in. Piazza hitting at .292. Now Piazza standing in against the right-hander Jason Marquis. Marquis just 23 years old. Power pitcher. Misses low outside. 1 ball and no strikes. He has pitched very effectively. The National League batters have only a .229 batting average against Jason Marquis. And the pitch. That just misses. 2 balls and no strikes to Mike Piazza. Over the long haul, Mike has really been hitting well. And especially of late, he has regained the home run touch. The 2-0 pitch by Marquis. Grounder foul down the third baseline. That's out of play. 2 balls and a strike. Mets and Braves have played 13 games this year. Atlanta winning 7, New York winning 6. Braves winning 4 out of 6 here at Shea Stadium. Now Marquis siding in. And the pitch on the way is high outside, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Crowd appears to be over 35, maybe over 40,000 here tonight. Mets again tonight are wearing policeman's caps, fire department caps. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball, thrown changeup. 3-2.
They've added to their repertoire tonight. They're not only wearing the fire, police, and EMS caps, they're also wearing Port Authority police caps and caps representing the New York court officers who were present in the World Trade Center and were part of the rescue.
So that's a choice of 5 different caps. Full count 3-2 on Mike Piazza.
Might also add that the umpires tonight are also wearing police, fire, and EMS caps, so they have joined that brigade.
Now the payoff pitch to Mike Piazza. Ground ball hit hard, base hit. Down the left field line, going toward the left field corner. Piazza will try for a double. There'll be no throw. He's standing up with a 2-base hit. Piazza doubles over the third base bag, down the line and into the corner.
Number 4, Robin Ventura.
So the Mets have a runner in scoring position.
Well, Ken Caminetti was playing far enough off the line that even though he made a step and a dive, he could not get to that ball. That was not scorched by any means. It took a couple of hops before getting by Caminetti, but surprising how far he was playing off the line against Piazza.
He made a pretty long dive trying to make up for that. But could not reach it, and so Piazza is on second with a double. For Mike, his 23rd double of the year. So the Mets have the first hit of the ball game. And Robin Ventura, who's been hitting the ball very well of late, stands in now against the right-hander Jason Marquis. And the pitch. Slow bouncing ball, fouled on the first baseline, no play. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, call or click 1-800-REBACSNY.com. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than Rebacks. John Stearns coaching at third. And Mookie Wilson on the coaching lines at first. That's trying to get on the board here in the opening inning. First of 3 against the Atlanta Braves. Braves beat the Phillies last night to snap their losing streak. Foul ball hit back upstairs and out of play. Braves have now won 6 out of their last 10, but they had to avoid a 4-game sweep by beating the Phillies last night.
And it sounds weird to say, but that was really beneficial to the Mets because the Mets can catch the Braves on their own. They've got enough games to do that. They have no games left with the Phillies. They need someone else to knock them off.
And the Phillies have a lot of games with the Marlins left, and they have beaten the Marlins badly all year long. So the Mets will be hoping the Marlins now can turn the tables against the Philadelphia Phillies. 2-strike count on Robin Ventura, and the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Ventura has been struck out by Marquis. No runs, 1 hit, a man left on. After 1 inning at Shea, no score on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Let's go Mets!
The biggest names in sports.
You know, I was a Yankee fan growing up, so I've been pretty much spoiled to have this opportunity.
Comedy.
Okay, you know, I want to be able to do stand-up, and then I want to be able to branch out, you know, explore other things.
And music. Now available on xmradio.com or on iTunes on the XM page. We even have a new podcast bringing you the latest in the 2008 presidential elections. Download the latest Baseball Confidential, Stand-Up Sit-Down, weekly music, and POTUS podcasts. It's another amazing way to experience your XM.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Unrestricted on XM Sports Nation, XM 144. Tune in to hear the real Dale, joined by his friends and other guests from the racing world, all without restriction.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is the truth. This is the funnest thing I do all week. I didn't anticipate it being that way, but it is, and I appreciate all the people that tuned in and listened to us all year long.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Unrestricted, Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. East on XM Sports Nation, XM 144, the home of racing's biggest stars.
More familiar voices are back and talking the talk on XM 169 The Power. Willie Jolly, Rob Redding, Mario Armstrong's Digital Spin, and the return of the nation's premier news magazine, The Urban Journal with Keith Murphy. Weekdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Check out xmradio.com for more details. If it's on your mind, it's on The Power. XM 169.
NHL Draft is coming, and ESPN Extra XM 141 has a special preview. Join Carl Ravitch, Steve Phillips, Chris Singleton, and Hall of Famer Peter Gammons for this 1-hour draft special live from the Disney Wide World of Sports Complex in Florida. The latest news, information, and insight to get you ready for the 2008 MLB Draft.
Just how nasty and how much movement he has.
It all happens Wednesday, June 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Extra XM 141.
Fastball hit deep to right.
Home Plate's classic game now returns on XM 175.
Kiyoshi Shinjo leads off for the Mets against right-hander Jason Marquis. Shinjo hitting at 273.
Number 5.
It will be Shinjo, Zeal, and Payton in the last half of the second here at Shea. Boy, this crowd is really into it here tonight. They are behaving like a baseball crowd. They're enthused. They are having a good time. Playing field looks awfully good. Pete Flynn of the ground crew have done such a terrific job of tailoring everything, and the grass looks so good. I think you kind of appreciate how everything looks so green this late in the summer, because you know it's just a question of time till the leaves start to fall and things start to turn brown. Now here's Shinjo standing in against Jason Marquis. And a call strike on the outside corner.
You know, we've paid a lot of attention to the players and the manager and the coaches and what they've done to help out through this crisis. I don't think we should pass by what the folks who work in this ballpark have done for the last 10 days. It has been almost superhuman.
And a breaking ball over, a slider for a call strike. Yeah, they've been working every available minute.
Starting with Kevin McCarthy and Sue Lucci, who run the stadium operations here. They did such incredible work in helping out with the staging area in the parking lot for the longest period of time.
Now the pitch on the way, taken high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. That didn't receive much attention until the Mets manager, Bobby Valentine, went out of the parking area and was helping moving boxes around. Then some of the players joined in. Then it started to get a little bit more attention as far as the public is concerned. Just off the outside corner. But as Gary mentions, the people in the offices very quietly were working constantly, trying to help get the right equipment and supplies to our firemen and police downtown. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Shinjo. And the pitch on the way, a breaking ball, strike 3 called. He got him. So Marquis strikes out Shinjo.
And it was almost as large an effort then to move the entire operation out of the Shea Stadium area to other locations in order to get the ballpark ready to be able to play tonight.
Yeah, it all had to be moved. Where'd they move it? Over by the tennis center?
Well, you got the over near the marina, and a lot of the operations have now been moved to the Javits Center as well. But you know, there was so much in this parking lot, you would have hardly recognized the place 5 days ago.
Now Zeal batting for the Mets. Line drive caught. The first baseman, Franco, puts the glove out, grabs a sizzling line drive. 2 outs and nobody on. We pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Bob Murphy with Gary Cohen here at Shea Stadium. No score. The home second inning. The batter is Jay Payton. Jay's had a pretty good bat going of late, batting .328 over his last 18 ball games. Payton now hitting at .252 for the year. And a strike call to the outside corner. Jason Marquis is an impressive-looking young right-hander. a native of Staten Island. Now Marquis getting a sign from Javi Lopez. And the ground ball hit foul down the first baseline. That's out of play.
Well, and you know that Jason Marquis' heart had to be racing extra fast here tonight, and he seems to have calmed himself down and gotten himself into a groove early on.
Yeah, they both, Bruce Chin and Jason Marquis, appeared to be just a little shaky when it started, and they both have settled in now. I'm sure Marquis has a lot of family and friends at the stadium tonight watching him in action. Off the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And, of course, as a New Yorker, he's been touched personally by all the folks missing and presumed dead at the World Trade Center. He had a Little League teammate who was a firefighter who was lost.
Yeah, I read about that. It was very, very sad. So much sadness in the stories, so many stories. Breaking ball, outside and low, laying off is Jay Payton. So the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs and nobody on. Last half of the second here at Shea. Tomorrow night, Steve Traxel, who's pitched so well the last 2 months, will be on the mound for the Mets, opposed by Greg Maddux. Maddux will be going for his 18th win of the year. He is just unbelievably good.
It's an enormous assignment for Traxel tomorrow night. Probably as big a game as he's pitched since that 98 playoff game for the Cubs.
Now the 2-2 pitch coming up. High fly ball hit deep to center field. Going back, Andrew Jones. He turns, and Andrew makes the catch. The inning is over. So the Mets go 1-2-3. At the end of 2 innings at Shea, the Mets nothing and the Braves nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Let's go Mets!
Join XMX every weekend for Studio 2.
This weekend, come on down to Channel 2 as it's packed with one amazing performance exclusively made for XM after another. First off, we have performances captured by the Starbucks XM Cafe over on Channel 45, and then a day full of off-sites from Ethel on 47, including Lincoln Park.
XM's exclusive music. Channel 2. XMX.
It's down to just 2 teams.
Double clutches and lays it up and in. What a move.
Only one is going to come out on top.
Oh, they could have called it out.
The NBA Finals on ESPN Radio, XM 140.
Now Gasol with a lob to Bryant for a 2-hand jam.
The intensity is turned up so much you can feel it. The competition doesn't get any more fierce than this. And you'll be able to hear it all. Tune in for live coverage of every game of the NBA Finals.
You're listening to the NBA playoffs on ESPN.
All the way to the crowning of the world champions. The NBA on ESPN Radio, XM 140.
This is the NBA.
Smith, he breaks it down and rocks the house.
These are the playoffs.
With the left-hand jam.
This is your home for all the action. ESPN Radio, XM 140.
Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed a perfect game.
This is the Classic game on home plate, XM 175.
Kiyoshi Shinjo leads off for the Mets against right-hander Jason Marquis. Shinjo hitting at 273.
Number 5.
It will be Shinjo, Zeal, and Payton in the last half of the second here at Shea. Boy, this crowd is really into it here today. They are behaving like a baseball crowd. They're enthused. They are having a good time. Playing field looks awfully good. Pete Flynn and the ground crew have done such a terrific job of tailoring everything, and the grass looks so good. I think you kind of appreciate how everything looks so green this late in the summer, because you know it's just a question of time till the leaves start to fall and things start to turn brown. Now here's Shinjo standing in against Jason Marquis. And a call strike on the outside corner.
You know, we've paid a lot of attention to the players and the manager and the coaches and what they've done to help out through this crisis. I don't think we should pass by what the folks who work in this ballpark have done for the last 10 days. It has been almost superhuman.
And a breaking ball over, a slider for a call strike. Yeah, they've been working every available minute.
Starting with Kevin McCarthy and Sue Lucci, who run the stadium operations here. They did such incredible work in helping out with the staging area in the parking lot for the longest period of time.
Now the pitch on the way, taken high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. That didn't receive much attention until the Mets manager, Bobby Valentine, went out of the parking area and was helping moving boxes around. Then some of the players joined in. Then it started to get a little bit more attention as far as the public is concerned. Just off the outside corner. But as Gary mentions, the people at the offices very quietly were working constantly, trying to help get the right equipment and supplies to our firemen and police downtown. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Shinjo. And the pitch on the way, a breaking ball, strike 3 called. He got him. So Marquis strikes out Shinjo.
And it was almost as large an effort then to move the entire operation out of the Shea Stadium area to other locations in order to get the ballpark ready to be able to play tonight.
Yeah, it all had to be moved. Where'd they move it? Over by the tennis center?
Well, you got over near the marina, and a lot of the operations have now been moved to the Javits Center as well. But you know, there was so much in this parking lot, you would have hardly recognized the place 5 days ago.
Todd Zeal batting for the Mets. Line drive caught. The first baseman, Franco, puts the glove out, grabs a sizzling line drive. 2 outs and nobody on. We pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Listen to Susan Waldman and Jody McDonald from 10 to 1 and Mike and the Mad Dog from 1 to 6:30 on The Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
Bob Murphy with Gary Cohen here at Shea Stadium. No score. The home second inning. The batter is Jay Payton. Jay's had a pretty good bat going of late, batting .328 over his last 18 ball games. Payton now hitting a .252 for the year, and a strike call to the outside corner. Jason Marquis is an impressive-looking young right-hander. A native of Staten Island. Now Marquis getting his sign from Javi Lopez. And the ground ball hit foul down the first baseline. That's out of play.
Well, and you know that Jason Marquis' heart had to be racing extra fast here tonight, and he seems to have calmed himself down and gotten himself into a groove early on.
Yeah, they both, Bruce Chen and Jason Marquis, appeared to be just a little shaky when it started, and they both have settled in now. I'm sure Marquis has a lot of family and friends at the stadium tonight watching him in action. Off the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And, of course, as a New Yorker, he's been touched personally by all the folks missing and presumed dead at the World Trade Center. He had a Little League teammate who was a firefighter who was lost.
Yeah, I read about that. It was very, very sad. So much sadness in the stories, so many stories. Breaking ball outside of the load, laying off is Jay Payton. So the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs and nobody on. Last half of the second here at Shea. Tomorrow night, Steve Traxel, who's pitched so well the last 2 months, will be on the mound for the Mets, opposed by Greg Maddox. Maddox will be going for his 18th win of the year. He is just unbelievably good.
It's an enormous assignment for Traxel tomorrow night. Probably as big a game as he's pitched since that 98 playoff game for the Cubs.
Now the 2-2 pitch coming up. High fly ball hit deep to center field. Going back, Andrew Jones. He turns, and Andrew makes the catch. The inning is over. So the Mets go 1-2-3. At the end of 2 innings at Shea, the Mets nothing and the Braves nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Let's go Mets!
Staten Island University's Radio Surgery Center, doctors have combined experience and technology in a unique treatment for prostate cancer. Implanting radioactive seeds directly into the prostate when combined with body radiosurgery is their breakthrough approach. This innovative computer-directed technique delivers potent radiation to the localized prostate cancer, minimizing radiation doses to the surrounding tissue. University Hospital's treatment is an alternative to radical surgery that requires an extended hospital stay. Generally, the seed implantation resuscitation procedure is performed during a brief hospitalization, and patients soon return to their normal function without the incontinence and impotence often associated with radical surgery. Staten Island University Hospital doctors are among the most experienced in the region, treating localized prostate cancer with radioactive seed implantation and sophisticated body radiosurgery. To learn more, call Staten Island University Hospital at 1-800-285-4584, part of the North Shore LIJ Health System.
Gotta go to Moe's. Gotta go to Moe's. Gotta go to Moe's.
Mets fans know you gotta go to Moe's for a great selection of players' name and number t-shirts and replica jerseys. Get all the baseball gear you need at the price you want with Modell's low price guarantee. Can't decide what to get? A Modell's gift certificate is the perfect gift for any Mets fan. For the Modell's nearest you, call 1-800-ASK-MODELLS or log on to www.modells.com today.
Gotta go to Moe's. Mets baseball is sponsored by Immigrant Bank. When it comes to saving, managing, or borrowing money, you'll do better at Immigrant.
Catch the most exciting action in Major Leagues. Visit Foxwoods Resort Casino or call 1-800-PLAY-BIG to find out more. Let's go to the third here at Shea with Gary Cohen.
Okay, thanks very much, Bob. No score as we start the third inning. Bruce Chen will face the lower third of the Atlanta batting order. Javi Lopez, Ray Sanchez, and Jason Marquis. Chen has yet to allow a base hit. He walked the first man to face him, Marcus Giles, and then got Julio Franco to line into a double play. And he's kept the Braves off base ever since. The Braves have had a big-time problem scoring runs. The Mets offense has been moving forward as the season has gone along. The Braves offense has been going backwards. They're now 13th in the National League in runs scored. Javi Lopez hitting a .261 on the year, right-hand batter, and he takes a fastball strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Javi has been putting his average in the right direction, hitting .396 over his last 16 games, but he hasn't had a whole lot of company. The 0-1 from Chen, swing and a miss at a fastball in on him, 0-2. Ray Sanchez is the on-deck batter. Chen making his 9th start as a Met, 3-1, but he got knocked out in the first inning in his last start, so he's already ahead of the game here tonight. Here's the 0-2 to Lopez, hit foul down the right field side, out of play, 0-2. We talked a lot about all the work that the folks here at Shea Stadium have done, and one thing they have done is redecorate this ballpark, and they have done it in subtle but stirring ways, and none more stirring than what we can see at the top, the very top of the scoreboard out in right field. The 0-2 to Lopez, hit foul off to the right. If you've been at Shea the last few years, you know that there's a skyline right at the top of the board with the bridge in front and the Mets logo in the middle. It's the Manhattan skyline, and off to the left, looking at Manhattan from Queens, the World Trade Center. Here's the 0-2 to Lopez, dribbled foul, and the buildings are all lit up in blue and white. Well, they have pulled the plug on the lights on the World Trade Center. It's no longer lit up, and in the place of the lights on top of that part of the skyline, they have placed one of those red, white, and blue ribbons that have become so popular over the last 10 days. Here's the 0-2 to Lopez. Swing and a miss. He got him. Chen with a high fastball strikes out Lopez, and that's the first out here in the third inning. There's been a lot of talk about what to do with that skyline logo up there, what would be appropriate, and I think they've got exactly the right touch, Bob.
Yeah, I think so, too. You look up there, and you're amazed that they were able to put that red, white, and blue ribbon there in such a short amount of time.
The red, white, blue ribbons are also evident in the grass in front of both the first and third base dugouts. And that is a brand new touch.
You see so many people wearing that ribbon.
Here's Ray Sanchez, and he takes a pitch high, 1-0. And then on top of the dugouts, the message has also changed, where it used to say 2000 National League champions on top of the first base dugout. It now says, God bless America. The 1-0 to Sanchez, line drive, base hit into left field, and the Braves have their first hit of the game. Picked up by Shinjo and played in. So Ray Sanchez, the number 8 hitter, singles to left, 1 out and 1 on for the pitcher, Jason Marquis. On top of the third base dugout, it now says, welcome to New York City, with American flags on each side. Also at the top of the stadium, above the lights at the top rim of the ballpark, there are flagpoles every few feet, and usually the flags on each end carry American flags, and then the other flags are the pennants of each of the National League teams. Well, the team flags are gone, and now all the flags at the top rim of the stadium are American flags. Jason Marquis turns to bunt and takes high 1-0, and of course, every American flag is at half staff. So they have really done a fabulous job, I think, here at Shea Stadium in some subtle and not so subtle ways to honor both the living heroes and the dead.
I wonder who crawled up to the top of that scoreboard to make that beautiful touch.
The 1-0 pitch, and Marquis takes high, 2 balls and no strikes. I don't know, but I'll guarantee whoever it was, they had a tear in their eye when they were doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Did you happen to see the cover of the New Yorker magazine this week?
I'm not sure I did.
It is a stirring cover, all black, except for a shadowy image of the Trade Center towers. Call strike on the outside corner to Marquis, 2-1. It's one of the most stunning things that I've seen in terms of artwork in the wake of the tragedy. But that's kind of what that skyline at the top of the scoreboard now reminds me of, just the dark Trade Center, still visible, but the lights out and the ribbon on top of it. Marquis, not a good hitter, 1 for 25, has only 1 sacrifice this year. He's a left-hand batter. Chen throws to first, high throw, but reeled in by Zeal, and back to first goes Sanchez. No score, we're in the top of the third.
Boy, he almost threw that away.
Ventura about 65 feet away at third base, ready to charge, and Zeal playing in front of the runner at first and ready to come in. Marquis, a right-hand pitcher, but a left-hand batter against the left-hander Chen. Gives himself up. Chen delivers, and it's down low, 3 balls and a strike. Well, Chen thought he had a strike that time, but Wally Bell said no. And now Chen, facing a hitter who's trying to give him an out, and who is hitting .040 on the year, has fallen behind 3-1. So here's a spot where Chen just needs to throw the ball down the middle. Ned Yost, the Braves third base coach, flashing signs to Marquis, see if he takes a pitch or whether he tries to bunt here. The 3-1, he tries to bunt, he fouls it off. So now it's 3-2 on Marquis with the leadoff hitter, Marcus Giles, waiting on deck. Each team with 1 hit. We're in the top of the third. A crowd that has come to the ballpark enthusiastic. Deafening chants of USA, USA during both the pregame ceremonies and into the start of the ball game. This is a crowd that has come here to celebrate, not to mourn. The 3-2 pitch hit foul back into the crowd as Marquis was swinging away, 3-2. Such a stark contrast from what we saw Monday in Pittsburgh, where it was such a sorrowful atmosphere. And of course, the size of the crowd had something to do with it there. In Pittsburgh, we had unscheduled games for a team that was in last place, and there was not a whole lot of enthusiasm around. 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He got him, and trapped off first base is Sanchez. Zeal doesn't realize he ran, throws to second, not in time. Well, that was some poor communication right there, because Chen struck out Marquis. Sanchez had taken about 5 steps towards second base and was hung out to dry. Piazza fired down to Zeal, and Zeal's reaction was to turn and try and tag the base as though Sanchez was coming back in. The only problem was Sanchez had taken off for second base, so while Zeal was tagging the bag, Sanchez was getting a head start down to second, and by the time Zeal realized what was going on, the throw was too late to second base, and Sanchez is in scoring position. So that was kind of an odd mix-up.
Boy, that's an interesting scoring play.
I don't think you can call it a stolen base, maybe just a fielder's choice. They're going to give him a stolen base? I don't think so. Not the way he stopped between first and second. Anyway, here's Marcus Giles with a runner at second and 2 out. Giles drew a walk leading off the ball game. No score, we're in the third. Braves with their first runner in scoring position of the night. And a changeup taken outside by Giles, 1-0. Mets just returned from Pittsburgh, where they faced Marcus Giles' older brother, Brian, who's one of the best hitters in the National League. Giles had one good game, Brian did in that series, the Tuesday night game, when he had a triple and a home run. But otherwise, the Mets did a pretty good job holding him in check. Marcus Giles is a second baseman, and he's even smaller than his brother. Brian stands about 5'10". Marcus is about 5'8", but he, like his older brother, hits home runs. He has 7 home runs and just over 200 at-bats for Atlanta. Right-hand batter. Sanchez at second with 2 down. Chen with the 1-0, swing and a miss. A big cut by Marcus Giles, 1 ball, 1 strike. When the season began, the Braves had Kildeo Veras playing second base, but Veras, who had missed the second half of last year because of a torn ACL, was not effective, was hurt a good part of the year, and finally was released. They gave the job to Giles, who tonight is making his 49th start. The 1-1 pitch, missing high, 2 balls and a strike. Last year when Veras went down, they filled in with Keith Lockhart, but Lockhart is more of a bench player, not an everyday player. And Marcus Giles, they figure, is going to be a very good major league player for a long time. Bats with an open stance from the right side. The 2-1 from Chen, and a high fly ball hit to right field. Easy play from Matt Lawton, standing right under it waiting. And Lawton puts it away. That retires the side. No runs, a base hit, and the man left on. Middle of the third now at Shea. Mets nothing, Braves nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Come Saturday, midday, it's a Major League matinee at Wrigley.
Driven in the air, deep left field. Back goes Costco. It's got a chance. Gone. Yes. Derek Lee, a 2-run homer.
Saturday in Chicago on the north side. The Cubbies, the Rockies, 105 Eastern, XM 185. And also on Saturday afternoon, 3:55 Eastern, Dodgers, Mets, XM 186, Tigers, Mariners, XM 182, Braves, Reds, XM 183, Padres, Giants, XM 184. 6:10 Eastern Saturday night, it's the Rays, it's the White Sox, XM 180. And on Saturday night, 7:05 Eastern, Marlins, Phillies, XM 188, Red Sox, Orioles, XM 177, Astros, Brewers, XM 189, Indians, Royals, XM 178, Yankees, Twins, XM 176, Pirates, Cardinals, XM 187. Saturday evening, 8:05 Eastern, A's, Rangers, XM 179, Nationals, D-backs, XM 184. Finally, 9:05 Eastern, Blue Jays, Angels, XM 181.
It's country music's biggest party, the 2008 CMA Music Festival.
You get your whole rundown on XM Radio, so we want to thank them for being here and supporting the music.
Listen all week for exclusive musical performances from the hottest concerts and fan club parties in town. Plus, special live broadcasts from the Chevy stage in our new XM studios at the Sommet Center in downtown Nashville. Starting tomorrow, June 2nd on Highway 16 with added special coverage on America XM 10, Cross Country XM 12, and Bluegrass Junction XM 14.
Take 5 with me, Dr. Laura, on XM 155.
Yeah, I think that would be a deal breaker. If you were wise, that would be a deal breaker, because that's somebody who wants to keep her head in the sand or not hear anything or not face anything, and that doesn't portend good stuff for the future. No, red flag, huge, waving in the breeze, yes. Spend part of your day with me. Weekdays at 3 p.m. East, noon in the West, on XM 155.
It all began on a November night in 1925. The faint sounds of twangs.
Witness history as it happens on the show that made country music famous, the Grand Ole Opry.
One more time, our newest member of the Grand Ole Opry, Mr. Josh Turner, everybody.
We roam from town to town and never shut it down.
Catch today's biggest hit makers live on country music's most famous stage.
You welcome Carrie Underwood!
And on XM channels 10 and 11.
And maybe next time we'll think before he
I got some big news. The bank finally came through. The keys to brand new.
The show that made country music famous.
Will the circle.
Today's hottest stars.
Want some more Dirks Bentley? Anybody say yes?
Exclusively on XM. Visit xmradio.com/Opry for more details.
Gibson has tied the record of sending comebacks. 15 strikeouts in a single World Series game.
Now, back to the classic game on home plate, XM 175.
The United Association member of the game is Michael Keller from Local 200. We do the job right the first time. Visit their website at ua.org. Through 3 innings, the Braves no runs, 1 hit, and no errors. And the Mets no runs, 1 hit, and no errors. Julio Franco, Chipper Jones, and Brian Jordan due up against Bruce Chen in the top of the 4th. And we'll get you updated on the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Buy and Hold, the online broker for long-term investors. in the National League. A quick-moving ball game at Veterans Stadium. They've gone to the 6th inning. The Phillies and the Marlins, no score. Omar Dahl with 8 strikeouts through 5 innings. That's not Omar Dahl, not the one we know. He's a guy with strikeout 3 or 4 per 9, but he has 8 through 5. A.J. Burnett pitching for Florida. That's a big game as both the Mets and Braves are watching. Pitch to Franco, taken outside 1-0. Julio Franco lined into a double play his first time up.
Boy, the Mets are really rooting for the Marlins in that one.
And so are the Braves.
Yeah, and how?
Right now, the Phillies are a game and a half behind Atlanta. The Mets are 5.5 behind. Chipper Jones waiting on deck, the 1-0. And a curveball in for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the roar you hear is as the mayor makes his way from behind home plate. Looks like he's heading for his next engagement and getting a huge hand from the crowd. Curveball in for a strike to Franco, 1-2. Mayor Giuliani making his way up the tunnel behind home plate. And I think it was great for the mayor to be on hand for the pregame ceremonies in the first few innings tonight. You know how much he has to do right now. 1-2 to Franco, who's either 40 or 43 years old, depending on your point of view. The 1-2 pitch into the air to deep right field, but playable for Lawton as he drifts back near the edge of the track. He makes the catch for the first down. So I guess the question becomes, which Franco is older, John or Julio?
Number 10, Chipper.
You know, it's interesting because the Baseball Encyclopedia lists him as 43. And in fact, if you go back to the Indians press guides from early in his career, they say he was born in 1958, which would make him 43. Not that there's anything wrong with being 43, I want to tell you.
Not when you look the way he does. That guy's really got some arms on him.
Here's Chipper, who took a call third strike his first time up. Batting right-handed, the pitch and foul back into the crowd, 0-1.
I tell you, the way he's built, he can run for Mr. America.
Well, the interesting thing is that Julio Franco's been tearing up the Mexican League for several years now, and nobody took a flyer on him. Since 1997, he had had only 1 major league at-bat until the Braves decided to pick him up at the end of August. The 0-1 to Chipper, taken outside 1-1, and it wasn't as though this was the first year he was having a big year down there. And this is a guy who's a lifetime 301 hitter in the big leagues.
He may wind up saving the bacon for the Braves.
Yeah. He's not exactly torn it up, but at least he's filling a hole for them. Ground ball over the mound, tough play. Ordonez charges, can't make the bare hand play, and Chipper Jones is safe at first. Ordonez lined it up to try and grab it with his bare hand and throw in one motion because that's the only chance he had. Chipper Jones winds up with an infield single, the second Atlanta hit. The ball was bounced over the mound, just a shade too tall for Bruce Chen. And so Ordonez tried the only play he had at his disposal, and it just didn't quite work out. So 1 out and 1 on, and now Brian Jordan, who flied to center his first trip. The Cubs are in Houston tonight. The Cubs 7 games back in the Central and 2.5 behind in the wild card. And they need to win and win fast. Here's the pitch coming to Jordan. Popped foul back out of play, 0-1. And the Cubs have a run home in the first inning against Ron Vallone. Houston now batting at the bottom of the first against Juan Cruz. The Astros have the best record in the league, but they've got some pitching problems right now. Pedro Estacio out for the year. And Roy Oswalt will miss at least 1 start with a groin injury. Tim Redding, who was up with the Astros earlier, will take his place. Here's the 0-1 to Jordan. Swing and a miss. Good fastball by Chen. 0-2. The red-hot Cardinals are in Pittsburgh. The Cardinals have won 7 in a row. They've got a 2.5 game lead in the wild card, and they lead the Pirates tonight 4-0 in the 6th inning. Darryl Kyle going for his 15th win against Bronson Arroyo. The Pirates appear headed for a 100-loss season. They've already lost 92. 0-2 to Brian Jordan. Chen delivers. Fastball fouled back into the low section. Still 0-2.
St. Louis Cardinals are really playing well, Gary. I think they've won 10 out of the last 11 now.
Arizona and L.A. continue their series at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers won in 13 innings last night on a Sean Green home run. Took them 4 hours and 48 minutes, and that was a huge win for the Dodgers. They needed that one badly to get that 4-game series started. They're now 3 games behind the Diamondbacks. And a throw to first, and Chipper is back. The Diamondbacks have lost 3 in a row now. They'll have Miguel Batista going tonight against Terry Mulholland. Mulholland will go tonight, and then Kevin Brown will be pushed back to tomorrow for L.A. 0-2 to Jordan, and Chen again throws to first, and Chipper is back. The Giants have lost 3 straight and are still 2 games behind the Diamondbacks. Play in San Diego tonight. Jason Schmidt goes for the Giants. Colorado playing in Montreal. The Rockies have a 5-3 lead in the fourth. That's the series that wouldn't move. Throw to first, not in time. Jerry McMorris, the owner of the Rockies, asked the Expos to move that 4-game series to Colorado so they could raise some money that they would then donate to the relief effort, but the Expos said no. The 0-2 to Jordan. Line drive center field, but right at Jay Payton as it lined up and he makes the catch. Jordan on the 0-2 fastball hit it hard, but straight as a string at Payton in center, and that's the second out.
What kind of crowds will they have in Montreal when the Mets get there next week?
2,000, 3,000?
That's about it.
And whatever Met fans show up. 2 out and a runner at first. Ken Caminetti, the batter. Cincinnati's in Milwaukee tonight. Lance Davis pitches for Cincinnati, and Ben Sheets will go for Milwaukee. Sheets returning from a couple of months on the sidelines. Caminetti flied out to left his first time up. No score. We're in the top of the fourth. Chipper Jones at first and 2 down. Caminetti batting right-handed. The pitch on the outside corner, a strike, 0-1. In the American League, the Orioles lead the Yankees 4-1 in the fourth. Luis Matos with a home run, as the Orioles are beating up on their former mate Mike Messina. Rick Bauer going for Baltimore. The Yankees' magic number is 5. Boston playing at home against Detroit. And a changeup missing outside to Caminetti. 1 ball and 1 strike. Casey Fossum for the Red Sox. Heath Murray for the Tigers. Any combination of Yankee wins and Boston losses totaling 5 will give the Yankees another division title. Boston has a 4-2 lead in the bottom of the 5th. Zeal in front of the runner at first, and Chen throws over, and Chipper Jones is back. Cleveland and Minnesota beginning a series at the Metrodome. It's the last stand for the Twins, who are 6 games behind, but have 6 games left with the Indians starting tonight. No score, bottom of the second. CC Sabathia for the Indians, and Rick Reed is pitching for the Twins. 1-1 to Caminetti with the outfield around toward left. Chen fires, ground ball down to first, off a diving Zeal and down the right field line. Chipper around second, he'll go to third as Alfonso finally runs it down. He's being waved home, the throw by Alfonso, off the glove of Piazza, and Chipper Jones scores the first run of the game. He was going to be out by 25 feet as Alfonso picked that ball up in foul ground down the right field line and threw a one-hopper to Piazza, and it went right off Mike's glove and into foul territory, and Chipper Jones scores. Aggressive base coaching by Ned Yost. It looked like Chipper was going to be out by a mile, but Piazza could not handle that one-bounce throw, and Jones scores the first run of the game.
Mike must have taken his eye off the ball to check the runner. It looked like he would handle it easily, and as Gary said, they would have had him out by about 10 or 15 feet.
A double for Caminetti, no RBI, an error on Piazza, allowing the run to score. Here's Andrew Jones, 1-0 Atlanta. And the pitch by Chen, taken for a strike, 0-1. The ball by Caminetti was not hit all that hard. Zeal made a dive for it near the first base bag. It went off the bag and his glove, it appeared, and trickled down the line into foul ground. And because it was rolling so slowly, that's why Ned Yost decided to send Chipper Jones home. The pitch to Jones, ground ball hit to short, handled by Ordonez. Fires across to Zeal in time to retire Andrew, and the inning is over. But the Braves get an unearned run. There were 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left. Middle of the fourth now at Shea. Braves 1, Mets 0 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
XM presents Artist Confidential with Jewel.
I didn't know that you had to be a country fan to like Loretta or be a folkie to like Joni. And so my music, you hear all my influences. I feel really lucky that I can be a storyteller. 'Cause in the darkness, I swear I hear the language of your heart.
Jewel on Artist Confidential. Hear the premiere all day tomorrow on XMX Channel 2.
It's down to just 2 teams.
Double clutches and lays it up and in. What a move.
Only one is going to come out on top. The NBA Finals on ESPN Radio, XM 140.
Now Gasol with a lob to Bryant for a 2-hand jam.
The intensity is turned up so much you can feel it. The competition doesn't get any more fierce than this.
A 3. Good by
and you'll be able to hear it all. Tune in for live coverage of every game of the NBA Finals.
You're listening to the NBA playoffs on ESPN.
All the way to the crowning of the world champions. The NBA on ESPN Radio, XM 140.
This is the NBA.
Smith, he brings it down and rocks the house.
These are the playoffs.
With a left-hand jam.
This is your home for all the action. ESPN Radio XM 140.
Major League Baseball on XM Radio.
Wham! A homer! Wham!
MLB Home Plate 175.
Fastball hit deep to right. Could be it. Way back there.
Home Plate's classic game now returns on XM 175.
Home fourth inning, the Braves with a 1-0 lead on an unearned run. Edgardo Alfonso, Mike Piazza, and Robin Ventura will try and get it back against 23-year-old right-hander Jason Marquis. The rest of the American League schedule tonight, Seattle plays in Oakland. Seattle's already clinched the American League West. Now their goal is history. They need 10 more wins to match the Chicago Cubs of 1906 for the most wins ever in a Major League season, 116. They'll be playing in Oakland. The A's are trying to clinch the wild card. Their magic number is 5. Paul Abbott goes for Seattle tonight. Abbott is 15-3. Corey Lytle goes for Oakland. Anaheim playing in Texas. The Angels up 1-0 in the second. Ismael Valdez against Rob Bell. Kansas City and Chicago, no score in the second. The pitch coming to Alfonso. Fastball knee high for a strike, 0-1.
Gary, how many games do you think they were playing when the Cubs won 116 games?
I would assume 154, but we can check that out. Now Marquis deals the 0-1, and a drive in the air to deep center field. Andrew Jones going back. He has it lined up, going away, and he makes the catch. Andrew makes all those plays look so easy. Just drifting back about 395 feet from home plate to reel in that long fly ball hit by Alfonso. So 1 out and nobody on. Mike Piazza coming up. Tampa Bay playing in Toronto tonight. Blue Jays have a 4-3 lead in the fifth. Brandon Lyon against Brian Ricard. Shannon Stewart a Toronto home run. Russ Johnson hit one for the Devil Rays. Here's Piazza, who has the Mets' only hit in this game. He doubled inside the third base bag in the opening inning. Since then, Jason Marquis has retired 8 in a row. Pitch, fastball call, strike, 0-1. Piazza's error allowed the Braves to get on the board as he couldn't handle a throw from Edgardo Alfonso, and Chipper Jones scored the only run of the game. Mike would love to get that back. The 0-1, low and outside with a slider, 1-1. Mike has homered in 2 straight games. The home run he hit Tuesday night in Pittsburgh was really one that changed a lot of emotions. It kind of got the Mets from the somber mood they were in and kind of sent them into a celebratory mode. Here's the 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 1-1. And it kind of broke a dam, you might say, for this team, and came out a little bit more inspired the next day as they wound up sweeping that 3-game series in Pittsburgh. 1-2 to Piazza with Ventura on deck. The outfield a couple of strides toward right. Marquis delivers, fastball just off the outside corner. He almost had him. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tomorrow night we join you with Mets Extra at 6:30. First pitch at 7:10. Steve Traxel for the Mets, Greg Maddux for the Braves. And then Sunday at 1:10, Al Leiter against Tom Glavine. Mets then go to Montreal and then to Atlanta next weekend. Here's the 2-2 to Piazza. Line drive, right center field. Cutting across is Jordan. Can't get it. Trickles by him onto the warning track. Piazza on his way to second as Jones fires in. Not in time. And Piazza has his second straight 2-base hit. Jones and Jordan were cutting down the gap in right center field, but Piazza hit that ball so hard to right center that Jones wasn't going to get there. Jordan tried to cut it off in the gap, but as he made a slide, it hit his glove and trickled on by. And so Piazza winds up with his 24th double of the year, which ties him with Ray Ordonez for the club lead.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Probably not a good sign of how this offense has worked this year. Here's Robin Ventura, who picked up his 1,000th career RBI on Wednesday with a home run. He'd like to pick up number 1,001 right now. And the pitch taken outside, 1-0. Robin was struck out his first time up. Ventura has never had a hit against Jason Marquis, 0 for 8. And the crowd really revving it up here, hoping that Ventura can get that tying run home from second. Piazza, a very short lead. A fastball up and away to Ventura, 2-0.
It'll be fun to hear this crowd react if Ventura comes up with a hit and gets that run home.
The Braves 1 run and 3 hits. The Mets no runs and 2 hits. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Jones playing a couple of strides toward left center. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Line shot, base hit, going into right field. Piazza will be held at third by John Stearns as Jordan gets it in quickly. And the Mets have runners at the corners with 1 out. So Ventura on 2-0 got a fastball he can handle and ripped the base hit to right. Hit it much too hard for Piazza to consider trying to score. So it is up to Tsuyoshi Shinjo to try and get the run home. And this crowd is in full-throated roar here at Shea Stadium tonight. Inspired by what they saw before the game, and now hoping that their heroes can continue the incredible stretch that they've been on. The Mets have won 20 of their last 25 games, and they've been doing it with their bats. The pitching's been fine for months, but the bats have emerged over the last month, and Tsuyoshi Shinjo has been right in the middle of that. Shinjo struck out his first time up tonight, but the last 2 games in Pittsburgh, Shinjo had 5 hits and 8 at-bats. Piazza at third, Ventura at first, and 1 out. Marquis delivers, slider low and away. A good stop by Javi Lopez to keep it from going to the backstop. 1-0. Shinjo had a home run against Marquis earlier this year. 1 of 10 home runs for Shinjo on the season. Giles and Sanchez at double play depth, hoping to get Marquis through the inning. The 1-0 to Shinjo, dribbled foul back toward the backstop. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Marquis has clearly seen the scouting report on Shinjo. The scouting report on Tsuyoshi basically says don't throw him a fastball because he can turn on anybody's fastball. So Marquis, who generally is a fastball pitcher, has started him off with 2 sliders in a row. Javi Lopez now taking the ball back out to the mound, talking things over with Marquis about what to do next on Shinjo. Met fans are always on time with the Croton watch. Pennant winning style and World Series accuracy. Croton makes the watch since 1878. Piazza at third, Ventura at first, 1 out. Bottom of the 4th, Braves 1, Mets nothing. Now Jason Marquis takes the high set. The pitch, slider hit in the air to right center field. That'll get the run home. Moving over is Jordan to get under it. Jordan makes the catch. Piazza tags. He'll come in to score. And the Mets have tied the game at 1-1 on the sacrifice fly by Tsuyoshi Shinjo. So Shinjo gets the job done, gets on the breaking ball, and hits it deep enough to get Piazza home from third. 52nd RBI from Shinjo, and the game is tied at 1.
Shinjo seems to relish that kind of a spot. But the pressure is really on. 4 times than not, he'll deliver for you.
Ventura held it first on the play, and now Todd Zeile will come up. And Zeile, who's really been swinging the bat well, probably better than he has all year. Not just in terms of getting base hits, but now hitting the ball with some power. Lined out to first base his first time up. Zeile has homered in each of his last 2 games. The pitch by Marquis, fastball strike on the outside corner, 0-1. And the Mets have been waiting all year for Todd Zeile to start hitting home runs. The resurgence for Todd began coincidentally with the Mets' hot streak. Went to a lighter bat, and the results have been outstanding. Zeile hitting a .267 on the year. The pitch by Marquis, fastball strike on the outside corner, and he painted the outside black twice in a row with that 94-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 very impressive pitches by the Staten Island native Marquis. Now it's 0-2 on Zeile. Franco holding against Ventura at first. You know Robin's not going anywhere. Andrew Jones playing a couple of strides toward right center. Typically, Jones will play just about every hitter to the opposite field. And now time is asked for by Marquis. He wants Lopez to come out, and they'll have another conversation. This has been an interesting year for the Atlanta Braves. Not nearly as dominant a team as they've been in the past. But they still got that great 1-2 punch at the head of their rotation with Maddox and Glavin, and they still have the best staff ERA in the league.
Well, they've won 9 divisional titles in a row. They might very well squeak another one.
0-2 the count to Zeal. Marquis delivers. Bounce foul toward the third base dugout. Well, another thing that the Braves have done 9 years in a row, and that is win 90 games. And that might be harder for them to do than winning the division. They'd have to go 11-5 down the stretch to win 90 games this year. Each team with a run on 3 hits. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Zeal waiting on a 2-strike pitch. Marquis delivers. Curveball hit foul outside third. Got out ahead of the breaking ball and pulled it foul. Still 0-2. Big crowd gathered here at Shea. You get the impression that a lot of people walked up and bought tickets for this game. Some who had tickets might have stayed home, but I think a lot of people wanted to get in on the magic tonight, and it has been magical. Now the 0-2 to Zeal. Low and away with the fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jay Payton waiting on deck. And with 2 strikes on the hitter, Andrew Jones even further over into right center against Zeal, who hit a home run over the center field fence the other day in Pittsburgh. 1-2 pitch, line shot, base hit, down the left field line, headed toward the corner. Around second, Ventura, he'll go to third. Cut off by Chipper Jones, who'll get it back in quickly enough that Ventura has to stop at third. Zeal has a well-hit double, and the Mets have their 3rd hit of the inning. 2nd and 3rd for Jay Payton.
Boy, that was a good-looking base hit. Andrew Jones is playing Todd Zeal toward right center. What did he do? He pulled it. He hit a bullet-like line drive right down the left field line and into the corner.
Chipper Jones did a nice job there. Here's a guy who's not used to playing the outfield, and he was able to scurry over and cut that ball off before it went to the wall. Had it gotten by him, then Ventura probably would have been able to score. But because Chipper was able to cut it off, Ventura had to be held at third. And now it's up to Jay Payton to try and get the 2-out hit to get a run in.
No, nothing going in the bullpen for Atlanta. But Bobby Cox wanted Leo Mazzoni to go out and give some information to his pitcher, Jason Marquis.
Well, Marquis had been dominant over the first 3 innings, but here in the 4th, a long fly ball by Alfonso, a ringing double by Piazza. Ventura hit the ball hard for his base hit. Shinjo with a fly ball to get a run in, and now Zeal with a hard hit line drive for a double. Mets trying to take the lead, but it'll take a 2-out hit. Pitched by Payton in for a call strike, 0-1. Payton flying to center his first time up. Jay riding a 9-game hitting streak right now. The biggest problem for Jay all year long has been just these situations. He has just 31 runs batted in 315 at-bats. Marquis working off the stretch with runners at 2nd and 3rd. The 0-1 to Payton. Slider hit on the ground to third. Backhand play, Caminetti. The long off-balance throw in time. Great play by Caminetti. A superb play by the former Gold Glover Ken Caminetti, making the backhand stop, falling into foul ground, and throwing a one-hop strike to Franco at first to save a run and end the inning. Mets tie it with a run on 3 hits and 2 men left. 4 in the books now at Shea. Mets 1, Braves 1 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Let's go Mets!
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Unrestricted on XM Sports Nation, XM 144. Tune in to hear the real Dale, joined by his friends and other guests from the racing world, all without restriction.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is the truth. This is the funnest thing I do all week. I didn't anticipate it being that way, but it is, and I appreciate all the people that tuned in and listened to us all year long.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Unrestricted, Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. East on XM Sports Nation, XM 144, the home of racing's biggest stars.
Hi, this is Casey Kasem. This week we're traveling back to 1975.
Thank God, I'm a country boy, yeah!
May 1975. President Ford had just declared an official end to the Vietnam War, and Monty Python and the Holy Grail was in theaters.
Come back here and see what's coming to you! I'll bite your legs off!
Meanwhile, Casey Kasem was counting down the American Top 40.
Coming up on AT40, I have the latest hit by the only recording act to have hit #1 during the 50s and during the 70s. And it isn't Elvis Presley.
Hear Casey's original countdown show from May 31st, 1975, commercial-free on the 70s on 7. New shows debut Saturday, noon East, 9 West, with encores Wednesday. For complete show schedules, go to xmradio.com.
American Top 40.
Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse, played in 2,130 consecutive games for the Bronx Bombers from 1925 through 1939. On July 4th of that year, the invincible figure that Yankee fans honored, admired, and cheered for over 15 seasons brought more than 61,000 people to tears as he said goodbye.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. When you look around, wouldn't you consider it privilege to associate yourself with such a fine-looking man as is standing in uniform in this ballpark today? I might have been given a bad grade, but I've got an awful lot to live for.
2 years later, Gehrig passed away at the age of 37 after his 2-year battle with ALS. Home Plate pays tribute to Yankee Stadium's final year.
The House of Representatives, the Congressional Black Caucus, the Senate, the White House, the Black Press. He's got it all covered. A veteran news broadcaster with over 20 years of experience covering Capitol Hill. The most senior African-American correspondent on Capitol Hill. If it's going down in Washington, George Wilson has got it covered. It's GW on the Hill, live, Saturdays 3 p.m. Eastern, with an encore presentation Sundays at 9 a.m. Eastern on XM 169, The Power.
Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed a perfect game.
This is the classic game on Home Plate, XM 175.
Now the home half of the fifth inning at Shea. The game tied 1-1. Each team has 1 run on 4 hits. Mets will have Ray Ordonez batting against Jason Marquis.
Number 10.
Marquis, the hard-throwing young right-hander from Staten Island. Every day in Newsday, read Sean Powell, the only New Yorker voted one of America's best sports writers, exclusively in Newsday Sports. Plus get pages of comprehensive Mets baseball coverage with stats, inside info, and full-color photos. Pick up Newsday today. Over the last 2 months, Ray Ordonez hitting almost 300. The little shortstop who's a wizard at short has been a pretty strong hitter over the last couple of months. 24 two-base hits to his credit. And the pitch ground ball slowly hit foul down the third baseline. John Stearns, coaching at third, will handle it. Tomorrow night, Steve Traxel takes the mound. What a worthwhile opponent. Greg Maddux will be on the mound. Greg going for his 18th win. This time of the year, you expect Maddux to be going for his 18th win. Fastball high and away now to Ray Ordonez. 1 ball and 1 strike. One thing about Greg Maddux, every year he's going to win from 18 to 21 games.
I think he's only won 20 once, right?
I think so. Maybe I was going to say twice, but I'm not sure.
I think he's won 19 a bunch of times. We've talked before about Maddux, how his Achilles heel as he takes himself out of games. Now he's won 20 twice. Did it in 92 for the Cubs and 93 for the Braves. He's won 19 games 4 different times.
What does he have for his career now? About 280? Swinging a high pop foul back into the crowd and out of play.
257 wins.
That is a lot of Major League victories. 257. He's on his way to the Hall of Fame.
Unquestionably. The only active tour with more is Roger Clemens.
Clemens now 20-1 this year. That's a fantastic year.
First time ever.
Yep, nobody else has ever done that.
That'll tell you right there how special it is.
Elroy Pace went 19-1 one year for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
But of course that was in relief.
Yeah, it was.
And that means a lot less.
The 1-2 delivery means a lot less pitching, a lot more lick. And a call strike on the outside corner. Ray Ordonez is called out. So 1 out and nobody on.
The pitcher, number 32, Bruce Chen.
That is the 4th strikeout for Jason Marquis. Now Bruce Chin takes his turn at bat. Last of the fifth inning, game tied at 1. And the pitch outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Bruce has had 6 base hits this year. Tonight, his only time at bat, he was struck out. Foul ball hit down the left field line. That's out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Night game tomorrow night and day game on Sunday afternoon. Quite a matchup Sunday. Al Leiter against Tommy Glavine. The 1-1 pitch. Half swing. Did he stop it? Nope, he did not. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Couldn't have a greater contrast in left-handers than Glavine and Leiter.
Isn't that the truth?
Mr. Outside and Mr. Inside.
Now the 1-2 delivery. Breaking ball inside and low. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Tom Glavine, who makes his living on the outside corner, and Al Leiter, who makes his living breaking bats.
I was going to say coming inside and breaking those bats. Anywhere from 5 to 10 every ball game. 2-2 the count on Bruce Chin. The pitch by the right-hander. Fly ball in the air to left field. Should be caught. Chipper Jones is there. Makes the grab for the out. That was pretty well hit by Bruce Chin. Line drive to left field.
I don't know about you, but it's hard for me to get used to Chipper Jones playing the outfield.
No, I can't get used to that at all. But Bobby Cox was desperate to try and get more offense. So he moved Chipper to left field so he could put Ken Caminetti at third.
Reminds me of when the Mets experimented with Todd Hundley playing the outfield. Every time a ball was hit there, you hesitate. Oh, yeah, that's right, it's Hundley. Of course, Chipper's a little more adept out there than Todd was.
Yeah, Chipper's a pretty good all-around athlete. Matt Lawton is 0 for 2 in this ball game. Breaking ball by Marquise is in for a strike call. 1-1. It's a beauty unfolding tonight here at Shea Stadium. Next pitch. And the fastball is low. 1 ball and 1 strike to Matt Lawton. That has with the Mets, he has 3 homers and 11 RBIs. Waiting on a 1-1 pitch. That's high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Mets and Braves have played 13 games this year. Atlanta winning 7 and the Mets winning 6. You'll remember the Mets opened the season in Atlanta and won the series at Turner Field. The 2-1 pitch. Smashing on the right side of the infield, base hit. That goes into center field for a clean single for Matt Lawton. Beyond the reach of the second baseman, Marcus Giles.
Well, you know the significance of that season-opening series. The Mets won 2 out of 3 there. That was the last time they were over 500 until right now.
Yeah, you're right. They took on Montreal and had a terrible series.
It took them 144 games to get back over 500.
To be honest with you, Gary, I never thought they'd get back to 500 this year.
Well, it certainly didn't look like that in the middle of August when the Mets lost 7 in a row, and it looked like they were just mailing in the rest of the season. Then all of a sudden in L.A. it turned around, and they've been rolling ever since.
They've won 20 of their last 25. At one point, they were 13 games under 500. Now they are a game over. Edgardo Alfonso looks the pitch over. It is high, 1 ball and no strikes.
And I don't think there's any question that what Todd Zeile said today is true. This is a team that is playing with additional inspiration now. They're playing for a city, not just for themselves.
Oh, I think that's very true. They are really giving it a full effort. Edgardo Alfonso waiting at the plate. And that fastball is a little bit outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Jason Marquis is primarily a power pitcher. He throws everything hard. That last fastball at 93 miles per hour. He throws a fastball, slider, and changeup. Matt Lawton with a short lead at first base. Line drive to left field. That'll be in for a base hit. Taken on a hop by Chipper Jones. Holding a second, Matt Lawton. And now the Mets have 2 men on. And Mike Piazza is coming up. We pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Top of the 8th in Philadelphia, Marlins and Phillies are scoreless. Orioles lead the Yankees 4-1 in the 5th. I'm missing the morning weekdays 5:30 until 10 on WFAN New York.
Bob Murphy with Gary Cohen here at Shea. The game is tied 1-1, last of the 5th inning. The Mets have 2 on and 2 outs. And Mike Piazza, who has 2 doubles, in 2 times at bat. Standing in against Jason Marquis. And the pitch. Foul ball back on the screen. Strike 1. So the Met fans are standing here at Shea, hoping they might see a long ball here.
Well, that was a vicious cut on that first pitch by Mike.
He has had 2 doubles and 2 times at bat. Pulled one down the left field line, and the second time in a screaming line drive to the gap in right center field. Marquis looking in to Javi Lopez. The outfield is just about straight away. Andrew Jones, who's so terrific in center field, is a stride or 2 toward right center field. Now waiting. Swing and a miss and a slider. And the count is strike 2 now on Mike Piazza. So now Jason Marquis out in front on Mike Piazza with a 2-strike count. Marquis, the 23-year-old right-hander from Staten Island. Looks into Javi Lopez. Sanchez and Giles are straight away in the infield. Now the pitch. Foul ball back toward the press box. That'll be out of play as it headed toward the press level. And the count holding is strike 2 on Mike Piazza. Mike has 33 home runs and 82 runs batted in. His numbers will be a little bit short this year because what he's done in the past, but it's still a good year. Marquis is getting set. The pitch. Outside low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Game tied 1-1. Mets have 1 run on 6 hits. The Braves 1 run on 4 hits. Braves beat the Phillies last night to avoid being swept in that 4-game series by the Phillies. Phillies are in a terrific game tonight against the Florida Marlins. No score in the 8th inning. Waiting on a 1-2 delivery. Just missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now Javi Lopez, the catcher, takes the ball back out toward the mound and gives it to the young right-hander, Jason Marquis.
That last pitch was a strange-looking pitch. I'm not sure if it was a tight slider or just a fastball that Marquis lost the grip on, but it came in dangling off the inside corner. If that ball's out over the plate, that's a ball that Piazza hits about 6 miles.
The ball didn't seem to have any juice to it like normally his fastball does. Now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mike Piazza. The pitch on the way. Ball 3 is inside. Lawton is on second. Alfonso is on first. Now they will be in motion with the count 3-2 and 2 men away. And now the big crowd here at Shea, they will get to their feet. Coming up to a big moment in this ball game right here. The runners edge away. Marquis nods in agreement. Now he's into the stretch. The pitch. Ground ball hit down to third, handled by Caminetti. Caminetti makes the tag on Lawton coming over, and the inning is over. Hard ground ball hit by Mike Piazza to the third baseman, Ken Caminetti, who tagged out Matt Lawton. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 were left on. At the end of 5 innings at Shea, the Mets won and the Braves won on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
NHL. Billy Williams, Chicago Cubs Hall of Famer. Billy, welcome.
Hey, it's good to have you, Chuck. Good to be here.
How the heck did you hit Bob Gibson so well?
That's what I like to know. I think the one reason was that I was an aggressive hitter, and Bob was an aggressive pitcher.
XM on deck, 6 p.m. East, 3 p.m. West on MLB home plates, XM 175.
And now, another installment in XM's Lessons in Enjoying Baseball.
Beer man etiquette. Hey, you jackass, I have real money here. Bolden money, not change. I want a beer. Not later, not after the game is over. Now.
Join us again for more Lessons in Enjoying Baseball on MLB Home Plate. Knowledge is good. It's country music's biggest party, the 2008 CMA Music Festival.
You got your whole rundown on XM Radio, so we want to thank them for being here and supporting the music.
Listen all week for exclusive musical performances from the hottest concerts and fan club parties in town. Plus, special live broadcasts from the Chevy Stage in our new XM studios at the Somay Center in downtown Nashville. Starting tomorrow, June 2nd on Highway 16 with added special coverage on America XM 10, Cross Country XM 12, and Bluegrass Junction XM 14.
Come Saturday, midday, it's a Major League matinee at Wrigley.
Driven in the air, deep left field, back goes Costco, it's got a chance, gone! Yes! Directly a two-run homer.
Saturday in Chicago on the north side. The Cubbies, the Rockies, 105 Eastern, XM 185. And also on Saturday afternoon, 3:55 Eastern, Dodgers, Mets, XM 186, Tigers, Mariners, XM 182, Braves, Reds, XM 183, Padres, Giants, XM 184. 6:10 Eastern Saturday night, it's the Rays, it's the White Sox, XM 180. And on Saturday night, 7:05 Eastern, Marlins, Phillies, XM 188, Red Sox, Orioles, XM 177, Astros, Brewers, XM 189, Indians, Royals, XM 178, Yankees, Twins, XM 176, Pirates, Cardinals, XM 187. Saturday evening, 8:05 Eastern, A's, Rangers, XM 179, Nationals, D-backs, XM 184. Finally, 9:05 Eastern, Blue Jays, Angels, XM 181.
Gibson has tied the record of Sandy Koufax. 15 strikeouts in a single World Series game.
Now, back to the classic game on home plate, XM 175.
Home sixth inning, Robin Ventura will lead off for New York in a 1-1 ball game. It'll be Ventura, then Shinjo and Zeal against Jason Marquis, who has given up 1 run and 6 hits. In the American League tonight, the Orioles lead the Yankees 5-1 in the 7th. They're doing that against their former mate, Mike Messina. Minnesota in a game they have to win, leading Cleveland 4-0 bottom of the 4th. Torrey Hunter, a 3-run homer, is 25th off C.C. Sabathia. Rick Reed going for the Twins, who are 6 behind the Indians. And they're playing tonight the first of 6 games they have remaining against Cleveland, and the Twins lead it 4-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Seattle at Oakland later. Paul Abbott against Corey Lytle. The A's magic number for clinching the wild card is at 5. The pitch coming to Ventura, and he takes a strike on the inside corner from Jason Marquis. 0-1. Ventura.
I'm sorry, Gary. I was just going to say they have such a huge lead, and the wild card race is no problem.
The only race remaining in the American League, and it's only a peripheral one, is that Cleveland-Minnesota race. Ventura 1 for 2. The pitch and a high pop-up on the left side of the infield. Ken Caminetti standing stock still waiting for it to come down, and he grabs it for the out. So Ventura has popped up to third, and for the 6th consecutive inning, Jason Marquis has retired the leadoff batter. 1 out and nobody on for Shinjo, who drove in the lone Met run with a sacrifice fly in the 4th. Anaheim and Texas are in the bottom of the 4th. The Rangers have a 4-2 lead. Rob Bell against Ismael Valdez. Kansas City and Chicago are in the 4th. White Sox up 2-1 behind Danny Wright. Boston leads Detroit 5-2, bottom of the 8th. Pitch to Shinjo, checks his swing. He went around. 0-1. And Tampa Bay leads Toronto 6-4. There in the 7th. Russ Johnson and Toby Hall with home runs for the Devil Rays. Right here, bottom of the 6th, Mets and Braves tied 1-1. 1 out and nobody on. Marquis delivers. Shinjo takes a strike on the outside corner. 0-2. They have gone to the 9th now in Philadelphia. It's still the Phillies 0 and the Marlins 0. And the Marlins have the heart of the order. Preston Wilson, Cliff Floyd, Mike Lowell due up in the 9th. The 0-2 pitch and a slider in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. They'll be facing Ricky Botalico. The Mets and Braves both rooting hard for the Marlins tonight. Remember that the Braves still have 3 games left with the Phillies, the final rescheduled week of the year. The Mets, though, are done with the Phillies. They have to rely on other teams to help. Here's the 1-2 to Shinjo. Line drive the other way, base hit going into right field. Shinjo doing a great job adjusting to the slider that time, and he took it into right field to give the Mets their 7th hit of the game against Jason Marquis. That kind of base hit really shows you the growth of Tsuyoshi Shinjo as this year has gone along. He's been a terrific fastball hitter from day 1 this year, but that time he adjusted so well to the slider and just went with it and took the ball to right field. Now here is Todd Zeal, who is swinging the bat as well as anybody on the ball club lately, and has hit the ball very hard twice tonight. Lined out to first base in the second, and then ripped a double to left in the fourth. 1-1 ball game. We're in the sixth. Shinjo stole a base in Pittsburgh during the last series. He only has 3 for the year, but Shinjo has a pretty good sense of when to try it. He's got a lot of baseball know-how. You watch him in the field, at the plate, and on the bases, and Shinjo's a guy who knows how to play. Franco holds against him. Zeal waits at the plate, the pitch, and a curveball missing outside. 1 ball and no strikes to Zeal. Jay Payton waiting on deck. Every time I look up at the crowd, Bob, it looks bigger.
You know, you're right. I think it's over 40, don't you?
I think there are more people coming into this ballpark as the game's going along. We get our first warm-up action now in the Atlanta bullpen as Marquis works here in the sixth. The 1-0 to Zeal. Fastball, letter high for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Marquis is now up over 90 pitches for the game. Left-hander Odalis Perez is up in the Atlanta bullpen. And they'll get a right-hander up as well. That's Steve Reed. 1-1 the count to Zeal. The outfield a step toward right. Marquis spending a lot of time worrying about Shinjo over at first base. Lopez sending out signs. Now Marquis finally nods agreement. 1-1 to Zeal. And a changeup taken low. 2 balls and a strike. Lopez faked to throw down to first base. So Marquis starting to throw some more changeups late in this game, and that might be a sign that he's starting to get a little weary. So with Odalis Perez and Steve Reed up in the bullpen, Bobby Cox might be thinking about pulling Marquis before this inning is over. Giles and Sanchez a double play death. Here's the 2-1 to Zeal. Fastball strike on the outside corner. That was a good-looking pitch from Marquis. Zeal thought it was outside, and he stares at the spot after Wally Bell rang it up. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Zeal. Mets 1, Braves 1, bottom of the 6th. Before an electric house here at Shea Stadium. And now Wally Bell apparently taking some heat from the Mets dugout, and he points his finger over at Bobby Valentine and basically says, "I have had enough." And he looks even more official than usual wearing that NYPD hat. Same hat that Bobby Valentine's wearing. Now, how often you see that? An umpire and a manager both wearing the same cap. Usually only when the umpires lose their equipment. Well, that's not the case here. 2-2 to Zeal. Ground ball hit foul outside third. And it holds 2-2 on Todd. Well, Zeal was not at all happy with that second strike call, and apparently Bobby Valentine gave Wally Bell the business. And as anybody knows from having been around Bobby Valentine, his voice carries more than most. Very easily identifiable, even in the crowd. Bobby will be the first to tell you that. 2-2 to Zeal. Shinjo leads off first. The pitch. Line drive off the pitcher. Caroming to Sanchez. Flips to second one. Giles to first. Double play. The ball hit Marquis in the back, and he is hurt. Bending over as he comes off the field. He appears as though he's going to be okay. The trainer comes out to meet him. A shot right off the back of the pitcher, Marquis, and it could not have caromed any better to the shortstop, Sanchez. A 1-6-4-3 double play, and the inning is over. No runs, a base hit, and nobody left. 6 in the books now at Shea. Mets 1, Braves 1 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Let's go Mets!
It all began on a November night in 1925. The faint sounds and twangs.
Witness history as it happens on the show that made country music famous, the Grand Ole Opry.
In the sky, Lord.
Here's Grand Ole Opry star Vince Gill.
Take your man with you when you go.
Catch all the magic from the stage of the world-famous Grand Ole Opry on America Channel 10 and Nashville 11.
Well, I was born cold.
The new stars, the superstars, and all the legendary Opry stars that first made you a fan to begin with.
Why, baby, why?
Play a part in country music history
Well, I got
the show that made country music famous.
Of my mama's Opry.
The Grand Ole Opry. Exclusively on XM. Visit xmradio.com/Opry for more details.
The Major League Baseball draft is coming, and ESPN Extra XM 141 has a special preview. Join Carl Rabbit, Steve Phillips, Chris Singleton, and Hall of Famer Peter Gammons for this 1-hour draft special live from the Disney Wide World of Sports Complex in Florida. The latest news, information, and insight to get you ready for the 2008 MLB Draft.
Just how nasty and how much movement he has.
It all happens Wednesday, June 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Extra XM 141.
Fastball hit deep to right.
Home Plate's classic game now returns on XM 175.
When the umpire yells time, be sure to check your Croton watch. Always on time. Croton makes the watch accurate to the second. Croton watch since 1878. Jason Marquis in the Braves dugout appears to be okay after taking a shot in the back off the bat of Todd Zeal. Lucky for Marquis, he's not hurt. Even luckier, the Braves turned a double play to get him out of the inning.
Bad break for the Mets.
Ryan Jordan leads off in the 7th, and Bruce Chen throws a changeup that swung and missed, 0-1.
Imagine hitting a ball like that, and it turns up a double play.
Jordan is flied to center and lined out to center, 0 for 2. Ken Caminetti on deck, and then Andrew Jones here in the 7th with the game tied 1-1. Bruce Chen has bounced back very nicely and is pitching a terrific game against the team with whom he started his career. Low and inside to Jordan, 1-1. The only other time Chen had faced the Braves before tonight was the last game he pitched for the Phillies before he was traded to the Mets, and he got beat up at Turner Field. He allowed 7 runs and 7 hits in just 2 innings. He has acquitted himself far better tonight. 1-1 to Jordan. Chen delivers in the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. Well, if you weren't with us before the start of today's game, we really wish you had been. It was a magnificent pregame ceremony here, one that was perfectly planned and perfectly executed, featuring all sorts of memorable tributes. The 2-1 pitch, low and inside, 3-1. Diana Ross singing God Bless America. A moment of silence featuring a 21-gun salute for the victims of last week's horror. The bagpipers playing patriotic tunes. 3-1 line to third, caught by Ventura, 1 away. Jordan hit a screaming liner right at Ventura, and that's the first down. The pregame festivities were they were moving without question, but the tribute tonight is not completed, and during the 7th inning stretch, we'll see something that you don't get to see all the time, and that is Liza Minnelli performing here at Shea, singing New York, New York. Curveball into Ken Caminetti, 0-1, and we will carry that for you.
That'll be such fun.
In lieu of our 7th inning stretch commercial break. I hope nobody will mind that.
I'll take it over a 7th inning stretch anytime.
Caminetti has flied to left and doubled to right. Swing and a miss, 0-2, and Caminetti has also turned into the defensive play of the game. After the Mets had tied the game in the 4th, Jay Payton hit a ground ball over third, and Caminetti made a spectacular play, backhanding the ball, wheeling and throwing off balance to first to get Payton and save a run. The 0-2 to Caminetti, line drive the other way. That's a base hit into right field, played by Matt Lawton. And so the Braves have their 5th hit of the game off Bruce Chen, and Caminetti has 2 of the 5. 1 out and 1 on. Andrew Jones coming up. First, we'll pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
After the Mets and Braves, join Chris Russo and Boomer Esiason for In the Huddle on Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Gary Cohen, Bob Murphy with you from Shea Stadium in New York. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Mets and Braves tied 1-1. Ken Caminetti has singled with 1 out, and now Jesse Garcia will run for Caminetti at first base as Andrew Jones steps in. Garcia, the former Baltimore Oriole, takes his lead with Zeal in front of him. And a throw to first by Chen, and Garcia hops back. Andrew Jones, very much a struggling hitter right now. Struck out and grounded to short in this game, 0 for 2. And as Bob mentioned earlier, since the All-Star break, Andrew Jones hitting under 220. And Chen again tosses to first, and Garcia is back. Garcia has been used often as a pinch runner by Bobby Cox since they acquired him. In fact, he's been in 15 games. He's only had 5 at-bats, but he's stolen 5 bases. He edges away from first. Chen delivers, and he misses high with a changeup. 1 ball and no strikes to Jones with Javi Lopez on deck. The Braves bullpen is staying busy. Mike Remlinger is up now. But the Mets bullpen is quiet as Chen works here in the 7th in a 1-1 ball game. Alfonso and Ordonez a double play depth. The 1-0 to Andrew. Up and away, and now Chen is behind 2-0. Javi Lopez waiting on deck, so Chen painting himself into a tight spot here. And now Rick White will grab a baseball, and White will begin to loosen up in the Mets bullpen. First action of the night. The outfield deep and a run toward left against Andrew Jones. Chen with a 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss and a changeup. Well, that's the kind of pitch that Andrew Jones needs to be laying off, a 2-0 changeup. That'll tell you why he's been in such a bad spot.
That looked like something Tommy Glavine would do.
Andrew Jones will tell you he's just not timing the ball from the pitcher's hand to his bat. So if you change speeds on him right now, he is really messed up. Throw to first not in time, and Garcia gets back. Tense point of this ball game for Bruce Chen and the Mets. The Braves can afford to lose a game. The Mets can't. Throw to first not in time. They're 5.5 games out. 6 back in the loss column behind the Braves, with only 15 to go, including tonight. So they have run out of time, and they've run out of margin for error. They've just got to win every game. 2-1 to Andrew Jones. Snap throw to first, and Garcia gets back. Chen loves that snap throw where he just steps off the rubber and throws without stepping toward first. The Braves have only 5 hits. The Mets have 7. The Mets have had a couple of excellent scoring opportunities, but great defensive play by Caminetti took them out of their best one. The 2-1 to Andrew, and a high pop-up on the right side, playable for Zeal or Alfonso. Backing up Zeal, he's under it, and Zeal makes the catch in fair territory. That's the second out. So there's a big out for Bruce Chen. 2 away, and now Javi Lopez will come up. This season, expect more from your pictures and get it with the fast, fully automatic Nikon N65, Nikon's smallest, lightest, most user-friendly SLR ever. Nikon, start taking great pictures. Here's Lopez. Javi singled to center his last time up. He's also struck out tonight, 1 for 2, and certainly would be expected that Jesse Garcia would try to steal a base here. Another snap throw, and he almost threw it away. Great diving stop by Todd Zeal to save Chen an error and keep Garcia at first. That ball was wide to the home plate side of first, and Zeal left his feet and made a headlong dive to keep that ball from going awry. Glenn Hubbard, the first base coach for the Braves, was all set to wave Garcia along. Chen delivers. Call strike at the knees to Lopez, 0-1. You could almost see it in his body language. Hubbard was about to yell go and then had to yell stop. He figured for sure that ball was going to get away, but Zeal really saved Chen. Snap throw to first. This one on target, but Garcia gets back. That's the 3rd time Chen has used that move, that no-step snap throw. In center field, Payton moves a stride or 2 toward left center. Now Chen throws, and Garcia's running. Zeal makes the throw to second. Alfonso did not make the tag. He missed the tag. And Garcia is safe at second base. Chen picked Garcia off. He was running. Zeal made the throw to Alfonso, covering at second. Garcia went to the front of the bag, standing up, trying to avoid the tag by Alfonso, and according to the second base umpire, Mark Hirschbeck, he did just that. The interesting thing about it was that Garcia then overran the bag, and then Alfonso didn't reach to tag him a second time. He thought he'd already got him.
Yeah, I think the umpire called it exactly right.
Well, Alfonso hit him, but the question is, when he tagged him, was he already on the bag? And I think Hirschbeck is saying he was, that Garcia's foot had already hit the bag. Then Garcia came off, but Alfonso didn't go back at him.
Yeah, he came off the bag. He had plenty of time to tag him in.
Well, Lopez takes outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. So the little things going against the Mets in this game. You had the line drive off the back of the pitcher by Zeal in the last inning that went for a double play. And here, a pick off by Chen, but the Mets do not secure the final out. And Garcia, the tie-breaking run, is on second with Lopez at the plate. The 1-1 from Chen. Line drive foul down the right field side. And now Chen ahead on Lopez, 1 and 2. Did they give Garcia credit for a stolen base? Well, that is two very questionable stolen bases for the Braves today. Sanchez got a stolen base in the first inning when Zeal went to tag the base instead of making a throw. Here, Zeal made a good throw, but Alfonso didn't get the tag on. Now the crowd rising as one, hoping that Chen can get the final out here in the seventh.
Boy, this crowd is really into this game.
Lopez waiting at the plate. Chen to the set. The 1-2 pitch. Popped it up. Foul. First base side. Is it playable? Zeal going over near the tarp. Reaching. Can't get it. Into the seats about 2 rows deep. Zeal gave it every effort going down past the tarp on the first base side. Leaned into the crowd, but could not quite reach it. And so Lopez gets another opportunity. And that's really what this game has been about so far for Atlanta. They have gotten extra opportunities, whether on plays where the Mets had a pick-off where they weren't able to secure an out, or when the Braves got their only run on a ball that was mishandled by Piazza that should have been an out at the plate. 1-1 top of the seventh. Chen leans in to get his sign from Piazza. The pinch runner Garcia leads at second. The outfield a couple of steps toward left against the power hitter Javi Lopez, who now asks for time, as Chen was taking too long getting his sign from Piazza. Fans all over the ballpark standing, hoping Chen can weather the storm here in the seventh. The 1-2 to Lopez. Curveball bounced up the third base line. Tough play. Chen will pick it up and not make a throw. Now tosses to Ventura, but Garcia gets back to the bag at third. It's an infield single for Javi Lopez. Lopez took a big cut at a curveball and topped it up the third base line. By the time Chen ran to the line and picked it up, there was no chance for him to make a play. And now the Braves have runners at the corners with 2 down, and Ray Sanchez coming up.
I guess there was no chance that ball would have gone foul had he let it roll.
I think that Mike Piazza was yelling at Chen to let it roll, but Chen obviously either didn't hear him or thought that it had no chance, so he picked it up. Now here's Sanchez, who's 1 for 2. Well, the Braves have gotten a host of breaks in this game, but they've yet to take advantage here. Pitch to Sanchez, ground ball toward the hole. Ordonez has it, backhands, long throw, in time, he got him, side retired. Ordonez playing that with aplomb, made the backhand stop and gunned down Sanchez. And the Braves are done in the seventh. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. Seventh inning stretch time here at Shea. It's the Mets 1 and the Braves 1.
Join XMX every weekend for Studio 2.
This weekend, come on down to Channel 2 as it's packed with one amazing performance exclusively made for XM after another. First off, we have performances captured by the Starbucks XM Cafe over on Channel 45, and then a day full of off-sites from Ethel on 47, including Lincoln Park.
XM's exclusive music. Channel 2. XMX.
Baseball Beat on XM.
This is Charlie Steiner for the Baseball Beat, joined by ESPN's Tim Kirkjian.
These so-called lousy teams have started to move closer to the middle because they've understood that developing their own players, not overspending on mediocre players, and using their money wisely, thanks in part to revenue sharing, has made them better. And some of these big market teams are just not run their clubs quite as well.
Baseball Beat, 1 p.m. East on XM 175, MLB Home Plate.
The biggest names in sports.
You know, I was a Yankee fan growing up, so I've been pretty much spoiled to have this opportunity.
Comedy.
Okay, you know, I want to be able to do stand-up, and then I want to be able to branch out and, you know, explore other things.
And music. Now available on xmradio.com or on iTunes on the XM page. We even have a new podcast bringing you the latest in the 2008 presidential elections. Download the latest Baseball Confidential, Stand-Up Sit-Down, weekly music, and POTUS podcasts. It's another amazing way to experience your XM.
And now, another installment in XM's Lessons in Enjoying Baseball.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they play 9 innings in every regulation baseball game. In California, they leave in the 3rd inning. Why did you pay all that money to leave early?
Join us again for more Lessons in Enjoying Baseball on MLB Home Plate. Knowledge is good.
Take 5 with me, Dr. Laura, on XM 155.
Yeah, I think that would be a deal breaker. If you were wise, that would be a deal breaker, because that's somebody who wants to keep her head in the sand or not hear anything or not face anything, and that doesn't portend good stuff for the future. No, red flag, huge, waving in the breeze, yes. Spend part of your day with me. Weekdays at 3 p.m. East, noon in the West.
on XM 155.
Yeah, this is a brand new one. In fact, I'm liable to screw it up. And even though this is taped, if I goof it up, we're going to leave it. Because this is cable radio or whatever they call it. It can't be cable. You can't have cables that long. Satellite, all right.
Singer-songwriter John Hyatt. Hear interviews with authors, newsmakers, artists, every weekday on The Bob Edwards Show, 8 a.m. in the East, 5 a.m. in the West, on XMPR, Channel 133.
The show on XM.
Nolan Ryan, who's now the president of the Texas Rangers.
It's a big learning curve for me, never sitting in this position before. But it's baseball, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying being involved on a day-to-day basis again in the game. And so can honestly say that at times it's overwhelming trying to get caught up to speed on everything.
The show, 3 p.m. East, noon West on XM 175, MLB Home Plate.
Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung out and missed a perfect game.
This is the classic game on Home Plate, XM 175.
We're going to the 8th inning here at Shea Stadium. The Mets and Braves locked in a 1-1 duel. When baseball returned on Monday night and the Mets played in Pittsburgh, it was fitting that their captain, their New York native, and that day their birthday celebrant, John Franco, would get the victory in that ball game. And I guess it's only fitting Bob Murphy in the first baseball game back in New York. Franco takes the hill again.
Yeah, I think it certainly is fitting. Also interesting to note, he will have to face Julio Franco in this inning, the veteran who led Mexican League Baseball with a 4.37 average. Another former Met, a former teammate of John Franco's, Bernard Gilkey, is out on deck, and he's going to pinch hit.
Number 23,
the out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Greenpoint Bank, the 1 point for all your banking.
Now, they had Wes Helms listed in the number 9 spot after they made the switch last inning. I'm not sure whether that was right or not.
I noticed that on the scoreboard.
Now, that's what they announced in the press box. I'm not sure whether indeed Bobby Cox flipped his batting order or not, because if he did, there'd be no reason for Gilkey to be pinch hitting.
The Bernard Gilkey is standing in, we think, as the pinch hitter. And John Franco now takes over the pitching. We go to the 8th inning, and this ball game is 1-1. The pitch to Bernard Gilkey, a strike call to the inside corner.
Well, there's no question he's pinch hitting. The question is who he's pinch hitting for. Is it the pitcher or is it Helms?
Gilkey hitting at .271, 6 for 27 as a pinch hitter. Now Franco off the stretch. Deals a fastball high, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And they've now flipped the scoreboard. They have Helms in the number 5 spot, so apparently Gilkey is batting for Remlinger.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, they do have Helms number 5 now. Helms wears number 18. Pitch to Gilkey, swung on and fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So that means Remlinger is out of the game. Remlinger came on, faced Joe McEwing. Got him on a foul pop-up caught by Javier Lopez. So the Braves will have a new pitcher in the game in the last of the 8th inning. John Franco with a count of 1 ball, 2 strikes on the former Met Bernard Gilkey. Now the pitch by Franco. Foul ball back over the screen. That's out of play.
Steve Carsey getting ready in the Atlanta bullpen. So all the New Yorkers are going to be rolled out here tonight.
Yeah, Carsey is a New Yorker, as was the starter, Jason Marquis. John Franco with a 1-2 count on the pinch hitter. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Good breaking ball by John Franco. He fans Bernard Gilkey.
Second baseman, number 24.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now we go to the top of the batting order and Marcus Giles. The Philadelphia Phillies beat the Florida Marlins 1-0. Jose Mesa got the win. Vladimir Nunez the loss. Phillies won the game by scoring in the last half of the 9th inning. Cubs lead the Astros 2-1. They're in the 5th inning. Strike call to the outside corner. Sammy Sosa has hit a home run number 55 for Sammy Sosa. St. Louis 5, Pittsburgh 5. They are in the 8th inning in Pittsburgh. Outside and low down to the right-handed batting Marcus Giles. A little later, Arizona at Dodger Stadium. Miguel Batista against Terry Mulholland. Giants are in San Diego. Giants have lost 3 in a row. Jason Smith against Brian Lawrence. Now the pitch by Franco. Drive in the air to right field, hustling for it. Lawton diving, made the catch. He made the catch. A diving catch by Matt Lawton in right field. Oh, beautiful play by Matt Lawton. So 2 outs and nobody on. What an exciting game. And what a thrilling play by Matt Lawton.
Both these teams playing all out tonight. Lawton diving across that grass, sliding on his belly and hanging onto the ball as he caught it on the backhand.
Interesting game in Montreal tonight. Colorado and Montreal are tied 8-8 going to the 8th inning. Cincinnati leads Milwaukee 5-2. They are in the 6th inning. The big one in the National League tonight, other than our game here, was the Phillies beating the Marlins 1-0. Next pitch on the way off the outside corner. The Phillies have beaten the Florida Marlins 12 out of 14 games this year. Baltimore leads the Yankees 5-2. They go to the 9th inning in Baltimore. Julio Franco, the batter, swinging a foul ball hit back upstairs and out of play. Julio is older than John Franco. Julio is probably 43 years old. Right here we are tied 1-1. Top of the 8th inning, John Franco pitching for New York. Well, the Yankees have rallied and now lead Baltimore 6-5 in the 9th inning. Baltimore had a big early game lead. So they've taken Mike Mussina off the hook. Low outside, Franco missing. And the count goes to 2-1 on Julio Franco. Julio has batted 3 times tonight. All 3 times up, he's hit the ball hard. And all 3 times has been retired.
All the Francos are here except the Generalissimo.
Seems they waited. Right now they're all concentrating on the Francos. John Franco for the New York Mets. Julio Franco for the Atlanta Braves. Julio was hitting .437 in Mexico. Now a breaking ball that's low and the count goes to 3-1. Rick Reed and Minnesota leading Cleveland 4-1. They're in the 6th inning. Seattle and Oakland not yet underway. Paul Abbott against Corey Lytle. Texas 8 and Anaheim 2 after 5 innings. And the pitch. Outside ball 4. He walked Julio Franco. So John Franco issues a walk. With 2 men away, a runner on first. We pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Bob Murphy with Gary Cohen. 1-1 here at Shea. We're in the 8th inning. Corey Aldridge will come in the game as a pinch runner for Julio Franco. Julio just reached on a walk. Now the hitter is Chipper Jones. Chipper's really had a hot bat. In the game tonight, Chipper has 1 hit and 3 times up. Switch hitter batting right-handed against John Franco. Boy, they've had some duels over the years. Throw to first now by John Franco. And Aldridge, the pinch runner, gets back to the bag.
Chipper's had the better of it. 4 for 9 against Franco, including a home run.
Boy, Chipper's had such a career against the New York Mets. Last year, he just tore the Mets up. And the pitch on the way. That's off the outside corner. 1 ball and no strikes. Kansas City leads the White Sox 5-2. They're in the 5th inning. Red Sox beat Detroit, winning the game 5-2. Casey Fossum got the win. Heath Murray was the loser. And Armando Benitez gets up in the bullpen for New York. Pitch thrown outside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
Seeing Armando Benitez get up in the 8th inning of a tie game, that'll tell you just how much the Mets need to win every game.
Now Bobby Valentine realizing he cannot let any game get away. Mets just cannot afford to lose. 2 balls and no strikes. The count on Chipper Jones. Pitched by Franco, outside, ball 3. That was not even close. So it's 3 balls and no strikes now on Chipper Jones. Chipper's batting average at .319 on the year. 36 home runs and 94 runs batted in.
I'm not sure you want to challenge him here.
I'm not either.
There's nobody else in this lineup who scares you nearly as much.
The next batter is Brian Jordan, the right fielder. Line drive, base hit, going into center field. The Braves now will have runners on first and second. So a walk to Julio Franco, a single to center by Chipper Jones. And now the Braves have first and second with 2 men away, and Brian Jordan coming up.
Now Benitez has just recently begun to throw. We'll see whether the Mets kill some time here to try and get him in the game in this spot.
If Bobby's going to make a change, he'll wait as long as he can to give Armando a chance to add 3 or 4 more pitches out of the bullpen. So far, nobody has come out of the dugout. Right now, Charlie Huff is on the phone talking to the bullpen.
Well, they just told Piazza to go out there and kill some time.
So now Piazza is on his way to the mound. And we're probably going to see Armando come in the 8th inning with 2 on and 2 out. If so, he'll be pitching to Brian Jordan, the right fielder.
Well, Jordan's never had a hit against Benitez, 0 for 5. On the other hand, he's hitting over 300 against Franco, 4 for 13. So it makes all the sense in the world to get Benitez into the game in this spot.
I guess it was Javi Lopez that had that grand slam against Armando earlier in the year. Armando still throwing in the bullpen. Is beginning to look like John Franco is going to pitch to Brian Jordan. Now here comes Charlie Huff. So the pitching coach who makes the changes is on his way to the mound and will be getting a pitching change. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Geico Direct. The game here at Shea is squarely on the line. Bobby Valentine asked for Armando Benitez. Benitez will be pitching to the cleanup batter, the right fielder, Brian Jordan. Brian has flied to center, lined to center, and lined out to third in the ball game tonight. So it's all right here on the line at the moment. Brian Jordan hitting a solid .292. 20 home runs and 82 runs batted in. Armando with 40 saves to his credit. He leads the National League in saves. Last year, Armando had 41. First time ever for the Mets. They've had a closer record 40 or more in back-to-back years. Now give a listen as Brian Jordan stands in. Aldridge, the pinch runner, is on second. Chipper Jones is on first. There are 2 men away as Armando takes the sign from Mike Piazza. And the pitch. Line drive hit hard. Base hit in the gap in left center field. Aldridge around third will come home to score. Jordan is heading for second. Chipper Jones will stop at third. The Braves have a 2-1 lead. Brian Jordan drilled it. A line drive in the gap in left center field, scoring Aldridge. Chipper Jones stopping at third. Think they'll score that a double?
Oh, yeah.
So runners on second and third, and now the Braves have taken the lead. The Mets strategy does not work as Brian Jordan comes through with a big hit.
Well, shades of the early season when Armando Benitez had so many problems coming into tie games. The very first pitch he throws, he threw a fastball, and Jordan ripped it into left center field.
Dave Martinez.
Dave Martinez will bat for Wes Helms.
Wes Helms, a right-hand hitter. Dave Martinez, a left-hand hitter. Martinez, a veteran who's been around a long time. So now he will bat for Wes Helms. Braves are now in front, 2-1. Line double in the gap in left center field by Brian Jordan. Scored the pinch runner, Corey Aldridge, to make it 2-1. And now the Braves have second and third. Waiting for Dave Martinez to stand in. Martinez batting at .226. Marchekman batting at .302. Veteran outfielder, left-hand hitter, taking his time getting into the batter's box against Armando Benitez. This is a hitter. Benitez has to get out. Mets are now a run behind. And the pitch on the way is outside, ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. So this is a hitter he absolutely has to get. Chipper Jones is on third. Brian Jordan is on second. John Franco started the inning off by retiring the first 2 batters. Strike called over the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Dave Martinez. But you want to hold him right here. A base hit would add 2 more runs to the Atlanta Braves lead. Martinez has been a good hitter over the years. Left-hand line drive type hitter. The runners lead from second and third, and the pitch. That's high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Now the Mets, if they're going to come from behind in this game, are going to face the tough prospect of having to face Steve Carsey, a hard thrower in the 8th, and then John Smoltz in the 9th.
John Smoltz has been terrific. He's been turned back only once since he went out to the bullpen to become a closer. Benitez with a count of 2-1 on Dave Martinez, the veteran outfielder. Left-hand hitter waiting. That's high and away. 3 balls and a strike.
Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if Benitez walked him. You've got a very struggling hitter in Andrew Jones and a right-hand batter to boot on deck.
Yeah, he might be just as well off. But I have a feeling he'll be trying awfully hard to get this 3-1 pitch in. Braves are in a position to just about put the ball game away. They lead 2-1, and they have runners on second and third with 2 men away. 3-1 on the pinch hitter, Dave Martinez. Here's the pitch by Armando. It missed inside, ball 4. The bases are loaded. Now the bases are loaded, and Andrew Jones comes up to hit. Andrews is 0 for 3 in tonight's ball game. Andrew has been fighting a second-half slump since the All-Star break, hitting only about .220.
And Andrew has never done much against Armando Benitez, just 1 for 10.
So obviously in this situation, Armando has to throw strikes and he has to get him out. A base hit would destroy this game for New York. So Benitez getting a sign from Piazza. Bases loaded, 2 men away. High fly ball to center. Should retire the side. Getting under it is Jay Payton. Waiting. Makes the catch, and the inning is over. But 1 run comes in to score. There were 2 hits and 3 men left on base. Middle of the 8th inning at Shea. It is now the Braves 2 and the Mets 1 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
XM is proud to welcome Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, to the XM family. Joe Madison's on vacation, but never fear. Beginning June 2nd, he will have the same great show, but a new home. Live from XM in D.C. on The Power, XM 169.
People who are illegally in the country don't answer surveys.
The only national radio channel exclusively dedicated to African-American talk programming. Joe Madison Live.
You gotta teach it all.
Weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on The Power, XM 169.
XM presents Artist Confidential with Jewel.
I didn't know that you had to be a country fan to like Loretta or be a folkie to like Joni. And so my music, you hear all my influences. I feel really lucky that I can be a storyteller. 'Cause in the darkness, I swear I hear the language of your heart.
Jewel on Artist Confidential. Hear the premiere all day tomorrow on XMX Channel 2.
Fantasy Focus on XM.
Prospect to watch. Texas Rangers catcher Max Ramirez. Check out his numbers so far for 2008 for AA Frisco. It's just extraordinary numbers so far. The Rangers have other options, so there is a question on whether he's ever going to stick behind the plate. But if he does, or if they trade him for another team that needs a guy, it's a guy that can get you some power, and he's still young enough that he can be pretty projectable there. He doesn't turn 24 until October. Max Ramirez is our prospect to watch.
Fantasy Focus, 12 noon East on MLB Home Plate, XM 175.
Gibson has tied the record of Sandy comebacks. 15 strikeouts in a single World Series game.
Now, back to the classic game on Home Plate, XM 175.
handled by Sanchez. The throw out at first base. Close play, but he got him. So Ray Sanchez throws out Matt Lawton. One out and nobody on.
Number 13, Edgardo Alfonso.
Now Edgardo Alfonso comes up. Mike Remlinger would be the recipient if the Braves hold on to win. He retired only one batter, but then left for a pinch hitter. Edgardo Alfonso, one hit at 3 times at bat, standing in against the hard-throwing right-hander Steve Carsey. And it's down the middle for a call strike. Carsey has really been a valuable addition to the Atlanta Braves. Braves have a strong bullpen now with Carsey, Mike Remlinger, and with John Smoltz. And the pitch on the way is outside and low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Carsey can really bring it. That last fastball, the gun said, was 98 miles per hour. Pitchers do not throw much harder than that. That's about as big as the numbers get. Now the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. He threw him a breaking ball. Slider off the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, if he can throw that slider anywhere near the plate to go with that 97, 98 mile an hour fastball, he's just about unhittable.
Oh, he certainly is. You're right about that. He's awesome. He's quite an addition to the Atlanta Braves.
Biggest problem for Carsey in his career has been staying healthy.
Now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch to Alfonso. Oh, that just missed. What a close pitch to take. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We are playing in the last of the 8th inning. Mets desperately in need of a win. Needing a win in practically every game remaining this year. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Grounder foul. If the Mets were to win, say, 12 of their last 15 games, there's still no guarantee they would win it.
Well, first of all, it depends who they win the games against. They're going to have to beat the Braves. I mean, they've got 6 games with Atlanta included tonight, and if they lose any more than one of those 6, they've got really no chance to catch Atlanta. Then they need help with somebody beating Philadelphia because they have no games left with the Phillies, and they're 4 games behind Philadelphia.
Mets are facing such unbelievable odds. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Edgardo Alfonso. The hard-throwing right-hander Steve Carsey winding. Breaking ball, a slider, missed an outside corner. And the count goes full now at 3-2. Mike Piazza is waiting on deck. The hope is to get somebody on base for Mike Piazza. Piazza has 2 doubles and 3 times at bat tonight. Now Carsey facing a 3-2 situation. The payoff pitch, foul ball, that's straight back into the crowd, no play. Tomorrow night, Steve Traxel will be the starting pitcher, opposed by Gary Maddox. Greg Maddox will be going for his 18th win of the year. Right now, he's 17-9. Second best ERA in the National League. Only Randy Johnson's is lower. Pitching 3-2. Foul ball hit down the right field line. That's out of play. Full count, 3-2 as Carsey walks to the back of the mound. Dave Martinez is playing first. Marcus Giles is second. Ray Sanchez at short. Keith Lockhart is at third. Chipper Jones in left. Andrew Jones in center. Brian Jordan around at right. Brian Jordan came up with a big hit off Armando Benitez to give the Braves the lead. Too high, ball 4. And Piazza comes up with a man on. Steve Carsey did not like that call by the plate umpire, Wally Bell. And he yelled something to Wally Bell.
I didn't think he was even close. It looked high and inside.
I thought it was definitely too high. Desi Relaford will come on the field to run for Edgardo Alfonso. Desi Relaford, a pinch runner. Mike Piazza comes to the plate. Piazza 2 for 3 here tonight, 2 doubles. Hit a hard ground ball and was retired his last time at bat. Met fans are getting into it now, and you can hear the Let's Go Met cries. Right-hander Steve Carsey checks the runner at first. Turns and throws over. It is not in time. Now Carsey will check it out with Avi Lopez. Jesse Relaford is the pinch runner. And the pitch thrown. Piazza takes it. It's over for a called strike. Carsey now makes his off-season home in Scottsdale, Arizona. He's had 5 years in the big leagues. A couple of years with Oakland and a couple of years with Cleveland. 2 years ago with Cleveland, Carsey was 10-2. Mike Piazza cocks the bat and waits. Mets a run behind. And the pitch. High fly ball. Deep to center field. It's way back. It may go. But a 2-run homer for Mike Piazza. He hit it over the center field fence. His 34th home run of the year.
And every Met smiling and jumping out of the dugout to greet Piazza. The third straight game in which Piazza has homered. He hit it off the camera deck. Remember, he hit one over that camera deck earlier this year. This one went about 2/3 of the way up. Another huge home run for Mike Piazza.
What a monster shot that was. A little bit to left center field. Almost, it went over about 405 feet away. And the crowd is just standing and roaring. Now the Mets have a 3-2 lead.
Piazza just took a curtain call for the crowd.
He certainly deserves that one. Robin Ventura, the batter, swinging a foul ball off to the right out of play.
Well, Mike said it the other day after he hit the home run in Pittsburgh on Tuesday night to give the Mets the lead. He said, I understand they look to me to get that big hit. Well, I'll tell you what, he has had far more than his share during this run.
For Mike, his 34th home run, never one that meant any more than that one just hit by Mike Piazza. The fastball taken for a call strike. So the Mets have a 3-2 lead, and they have Armando Benitez in the game pitching.
Well, that one takes both Franco and Benitez off the hook.
Now the pitch on the way. A strike called on the inside corner. That's the second out. Ventura called out on strikes. We pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
The Phillies won tonight, shutting out the Marlins 1-0. Orioles scored 2 in the ninth to beat the Yankees 7-6. Mike and the Mad Dog, weekdays 1 until 6:30 on WFAN, New York.
Bob Murphy with Gary Cohen. Gary Tsuyoshi Shinjo standing in against Steve Carsey, and a fastball high. Here's Carsey, who throws it about 98 miles per hour. That's the Mets' first home run of the game. So Mark Roth from Roth's West Side Steakhouse says, put a steak on for Mike Piazza. Line drive hit hard, one hopper, fielded by Sanchez, thrown to first in time, and the inning is over. But what an inning for the New York Mets. 2 runs. One hit, a 2-run homer by Mike Piazza. Nobody left on. At the end of 8 innings now at Shea Stadium, the Mets 3 and the Braves 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Let's go Mets!
Hi, this is Casey Kasem. This week we're traveling back to 1975.
Thank God, I'm a country boy, yeah!
May 1975, President Ford had just declared an official end to the Vietnam War, and Monty Python and the Holy Grail was in theaters.
Come back here and take what's coming to you! I'll bite your legs off!
Meanwhile, Casey Kasem was counting down the American Top 40.
Coming up on AT40, I have the latest hit by the only recording act to have hit #1 during the 50s and during the 70s. And it isn't Elvis Presley.
Hear Casey's original countdown show from May 31st, 1975, commercial-free on the 70s on 7. New shows debut Saturday, noon East, 9 West, with encores Wednesday. For complete show schedules, go to xmradio.com.
American Top 40.
XM on deck.
Billy Williams, Chicago Cubs Hall of Famer. Billy, welcome.
Hey, it's good to have you, Chuck. Good to be here.
How the heck did you hit Bob Gibson so well?
That's what I like to know. I think the one reason was that I was aggressive hitter, and Bob was aggressive pitcher.
XM on deck, 6 p.m. East, 3 p.m. West on MLB home plates, XM 175.
Fastball hit deep to right. Could be it. Way back there. Oh!
Home Plate's classic game now returns on XM 175.
Well, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Ninth inning is Shea. Mets have a 3-2 lead. Javi Lopez will be leading off against Armando Benitez. Armando came on in the 8th inning, replaced John Franco. Gave up a line drive double to Brian Jordan and knocked in a run. Walked Dave Martinez, then retired. Andrew Jones for the third out.
You remember how upset Steve Carsey was about that ball 4 to Edgardo Alfonso. Well, when the inning was over, Carsey started going after the umpire Wally Bell, and he was ejected from the game.
I was surprised by that. I didn't think the pitch was that close.
He might have been objecting to something before that. That's the only thing I can get.
Might have been. Now Javi Lopez swings and fouls the ball off, strike one.
And yet another native New Yorker, B.J. Surhoff, has come out on deck to be a pinch hitter.
Surhoff, a left-hand batter. Standing in now is Javi Lopez. And it's over at the knees for a call strike. Armando with a 2-strike count.
What a night for Mike Piazza. 3 extra base hits, including the big home run.
2 doubles and a home run. Crowd standing here at Shea. What an ovation they're giving. Now the pitch by Armando. Swinging a foul ball up the third baseline, no play.
As the inning began, the crowd was chanting, USA, USA. This game has been so much more than a ball game here tonight. It has been an enormous celebration of the return of not only baseball, but of outdoor gathering to New York.
Now Armando will check it out with Mike Piazza. The infield and the outfield are straight away. And the pitch, too high. That misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the right-hand hitter, Javi Lopez. Javi has 2 hits in 3 times at bat. Lopez hitting at .264 on the year. 16 homers, 61 runs batted in. And the pitch. Ground ball toward the hole, base hit. A single to left to start the inning off by Javi Lopez. So the tying run is on with nobody out. And now Armando Benitez faces a tough test. Ray Sanchez will be coming up.
We got B.J. Surhoff to pinch hit, and Mark DeRosa will come in to pinch run for Lopez.
B.J. Surhoff, a left-hand hitter, veteran player, former Baltimore Oriole. So Surhoff will be the pinch hitter. DeRosa is the pinch runner.
He's not quite a native New Yorker. He's from Passaic, New Jersey.
You got to go over the bridge.
It's amazing how many New Yorkers the Braves have on their roster.
DeRosa is the pinch runner. The tying run is on first, and there's nobody out. We are now in the 9th inning. Tough job for Armando Benitez. There goes the runner, swinging a foul ball out of play. They sent the runner. The pitch was fouled off.
Boy, DeRosa had a huge jump, too. If B.J. let that ball go by, DeRosa probably would have stolen the base, but Surhoff's foul ball went off the left shoulder of Mike Piazza, and Mike rotating that left arm. He's in some degree of pain.
DeRosa's been doing a pretty good job of helping out since Rafael Furcal went down with an injury. DeRosa hitting at .303. The batter at the plate, B.J. Surhoff, not having a very good year, but nonetheless still hitting at .270, and a dangerous hitter over the years. So the tying run is on first. Nobody out. We are in the ninth inning. That's 3, and the Braves 2. Armando will check things out. Turns and he throws to first, the runner diving back.
And, of course, Surhoff knows Benitez very well. They were longtime teammates in Baltimore.
Indeed they were. Surhoff has not been playing a whole lot of late. Now Armando getting the sign from Piazza. Turns and throws hard to first base, the runner diving back. So they're worrying about and keeping a close eye on Mark DeRosa, the pinch runner at first base. And rightfully so, he is the tying run at first. And again a turn and a throw over to first base. 3 in a row for Armando Benitez. Mike Piazza looking into the dugout to see if Bobby Valentine has a play to put on. Does he want him to throw over again or not? Now the pitch to Surhoff. Foul ball and back into the crowd, strike 2. So a 2-strike count now on B.J. Surhoff. That's 3 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. The Braves 2 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Benitez, the pitcher of record for the Mets, if they can win the ball game. Right now, the tying run is on first and nobody out. And the pitch in the dirt. Breaking ball thrown by Armando Benitez in the dirt out in front of home plate. Blocked nicely by Mike Piazza. That wasn't easy. Surhoff has some power. He's hit 10 home runs this year and knocked 52 runs in. Ray Ordonez calls time and comes over from shortstop to have a word with Armando Benitez. A runner on first, Mark DeRosa, and nobody out. Benitez working from the stretch. Turns and throws over to Todd Zeile. The runner is back. I've never seen Armando work any more on holding a runner close than he is right here trying to keep a short holder on DeRosa.
After DeRosa got that great jump on the first pitch, I think they told Benitez, you make sure you keep an eye on him.
Now 1-2 delivery. Swinging a high foul ball hit down the left field line. Probably out of play. Yep, it'll go into the crowd down the left field line. So no play. Surhoff stays there with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nothing going in either bullpen. The Phillies won their game tonight, beating Florida 1-0. They scored in the last half of the 9th inning for the 1-0 victory. Now Surhoff standing with 1 foot out of the batter's box. Getting ready, adjusting his stance now for Armando Benitez. Armando is ready. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Surhoff has been struck out. 1 man away. 1 man away now in the 9th inning.
Third baseman, number 7, Keith Lockhart.
Now Keith Lockhart is coming up. Lockhart is a left-hand hitter. Came into the game late, is playing third base right now. He replaced Wes Helms at third. So Lockhart, a veteran ball player. Line drive type hitter, pretty good hitter. Standing in against Armando Benitez. And a turn and a throw over once again. Mets are convinced that DeRosa is going to try and steal the base to put the tying run into scoring position. Lockhart hitting at .229, 3 homers, 11 RBIs. Now Benitez is ready. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Slider to start him off. It was a beauty. And a 1-strike count on Dave Lockhart. Keith Lockhart. So a 1-strike count here on Keith Lockhart. Marcus Giles, the leadoff batter, will be up next. Now the pitch by Armando. Swing and a miss. Now Armando with a 2-strike count on Keith Lockhart. He's thrown him 2 breaking balls so far. 2-strike count on the left-hand batter, Keith Lockhart. Jay Payton playing a stride to left center. Benitez wearing his fireman's cap goes into the stretch. Turns and throws to first, the runner diving back.
Nothing more appropriate than your closer wearing a fireman's cap, is there?
That's absolutely perfect, isn't it? Yeah, in this situation, you'd rather have him wearing a fireman's cap than anything else. The 2-strike pitch. Ground ball hit toward the middle of the diamond. Ordonez steps on second. Throws to first. Double play. The Mets win. The Mets have won the ball game. A ground ball to Ordonez. He steps down second. He throws to first. Double play. And the game is over in the 9th inning. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left on. A marvelous win for the New York Mets. They went on a 2-run homer by Mike Piazza that came in the 8th inning before a crowd of better than 41,000. Gary, it doesn't get much better than this.
What an emotional night here at Shea Stadium, and if you needed any indication at the end of the game, when Todd Zeile caught that ball at the end of the double play, he pumped his glove as though the Mets had just won a playoff game. Mets are at a point in their season where every game is pretty much like a playoff game, but even more so to win with the Mets returning to New York after all these weeks away, with all the celebration here of New York and this nation, for the Mets to pull out a win like that. This was really something else.
They came from behind to do it. They fell behind 2-1 when Brian Jordan doubled to left center to drive in a run, and he got the 2-base hit off Armando Benitez, who would wind up the winning pitcher after Mike Piazza hit the game-winning 2-run homer. We'll be back with a happy recap in just a moment. The final score, the Mets 3 and the Braves 2.